computers.
Probably
when
not.
Fletch Zone comes in to do a show, do they race in and set up their computers?
No, they have like an hour to get everything ready to go. We have 4 minutes.
I need an agent other than you.
Me?
You know what I mean? I'm saying like I need a bit like we need agents. I don't think it'll do anything, but
it would do nothing.
I don't think it'll do anything.
No.
Anyway, bad weekend for the Padres, culminating with getting swept, scoring 1 run in each of the 3 games.
Wasn't good, John.
No, really
it was
wasn't.
The opposite of good. It was very, very bad. This past weekend, over 21 with runners in scoring position. Manny Machado going over in the series. Jackson Merrill in his biggest slump of the year by far. Pitching wasn't that great. Bullpen wasn't that great. Just nothing went right for this team this past weekend. Wasn't a great homestand. 2-4 homestand. They're 13-15 since their 14-3 start to the year. So they've been playing very average baseball.
Yep.
Actually below average baseball. 13-15 is below average. I look at it as thank goodness for the off day today. They are a very streaky team. And we've seen that. When they go into ruts, man, do they go into ruts. They just go all out. They look as bad as they possibly can look. And when they play good baseball and they're hot, they're arguably the best team in the sport. So right now, can they stop being so streaky and can they get more consistent? And that's kind of what we're looking here for from the Padres.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was kind of a confounding weekend against the Mariners. I did not expect it coming in after they'd taken the last 2 games against the Angels. By the way, let's kind of reset here for a moment because we do have SDFC tickets to give away today. And this will be not for this weekend, but next weekend.
Is this breaking news that I didn't know about?
Yeah, because Brent put in the rundown, right, Brent? We have SDFC tickets for May 31st against Austin FC. So the way we're going to give these away is what we've been doing here in recent shows with soccer ticket giveaways. We will play a goal sounder from Adrian Garcia Marquez every hour. We'll qualify 4 listeners. One of our qualifiers is going to win a pair of tickets. San Diego FC, Austin FC. It's not this weekend. It's next weekend, May 31st. Jim is sneezing already. California Bank and Trust is giving away tickets to the May 31st San Diego Football Club summer kickoff match against Austin FC. This will feature a beach towel giveaway. So you'll be listening for a sounder from Adrian Garcia Marquez. It'll sound like a goal call when you hear it. Call 877-767-4760. We also have a 4-pack of tickets to give away to the San Diego County Fair. We'll let you know when to call for those. But regarding the Padres, and we'll hear from Mike Shildt after they were swept yesterday coming up on the show, and then Kevin's going to join us coming up at 2:30. Listen to this. Remember the 21-run game? Everyone remembers that? They beat the Rockies in shutout fashion.
How could I forget?
How could anyone forget? Since that game, 7 games, they've scored 21 runs.
That's incredible.
So it was a complete outlier. Obviously, nobody beats anyone 21-0. Maybe you run into one of those games once every decade, and they did, to their credit. But since that game, they've scored only 21 runs. You mentioned something last night. If that 21-run game never happened, and that's not fair, but let's say the 21-run game was more like a 9 or 10-run game for the Padres, they're bottom 5 probably in baseball, somewhere in there in runs scored. They're probably bottom 3 in the National League. So they've been saved a little bit by that one game in terms of their offense. But 0 for 21 with men in scoring position, of course, that's not going to sustain either. They're not going to be that team moving forward. It's hard to go 0 for 21, but that to me is the story. They had opportunities this weekend. They didn't cash in. The next time they have opportunities in Toronto, they need to cash in or this losing streak is going to continue.
Yeah, it's just an awful weekend all the way around. There's no way to put it. I'm not saying that red alert, this team is going to now go into a spiral this year where they're going to turn into a bad baseball team and whatnot. Like, no, I don't think that. But there are concerns with the team that are going to have to be addressed at some point. Like left field is as black of a hole as you could possibly have. I mean, it's a joke. You were reading some of the numbers last night on the wrap-up show. They have a sub 500 OPS as left fielders go.
2 combined home runs. Yeah, no, I left field's got to be cleaned up, as in they need to find someone outside of their organization. Oscar Gonzalez today was let go. They let him sign with the Japanese team. That just broke from Dennis Lin. Gavin Sheets is playing left field. He's never played left field in his career. He's played there 10 times in his career. He had a ball hit to him in a 1-1 game that he misplayed. Mike Shildt backed him up post game. I looked at the catch probability on baseball, whatever, Savant or MLB.com. It said 95%. So you got a left fielder that can't play left field that cost you a run or two yesterday in a close game where you can't score. To your point, they're trying to put this puzzle together. Left field piece doesn't fit.
No, not even close.
Can they make it until July? This is for another conversation maybe, but look at their schedule in June. It's hard, flat out hard. San Francisco, LA, Arizona, LA in some order. It's really, really hard. Can you get away with it? Now, I would say that someone put this on the wrap-up show in the replies last night. I do agree. They weren't swept because of left field.
No.
But left field is a problem that looks worse when you're not winning. And to your point, it's not like they just didn't win this weekend. They're 13-15 over 28 games. That's a factual statement. They haven't played well. They haven't been awful, but they haven't played well by and large for the last month.
It's just been up and down.
Yep.
Hot stretches, good, cold stretches, everything in between.
Yep.
And they haven't been consistent. That, by the way, is... You know how we've preached for the last, 4 years about how hot starts are something that you want to get off to? If they did not get off to their 14-3 hot start, it'd be much different around here right now. So getting off to the 14-3 start has given them some wiggle room here, but you don't want to just 100% rely on that 14-3 stretch to carry you through the rest of this month and into August. Like, you got to play some good baseball at some point here where you putting together some better stretches and not getting swept at home. They've got swept at home twice this year. And in both of those series, they scored 3 runs in both of those series combined.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of crazy. At home in front of, we're all watching, maybe you're there, there's 40,000 people. It's raining. It's miserable. It's Saturday night. There's 40,000 people, and Gavin Sheets hits a solo home run. And then it's a beautiful Sunday, and there's 40,000 people, and Fernando Tatis Jr. leads off a game with a solo home run. It's all they score. I'm glad that Lav just put this in our chat. We're on YouTube, by the way. Search for Jon and Jim. I didn't realize this. This is an excellent point. I confirmed it at Fangraphs. As we sit here on this May 19th with the rosy start, 9 games over 500, 14-3 out of the gates, the Padres' odds of making the postseason per Fangraphs is 50.0%. A literal coin flip. 50.0. San Francisco, 50.0. Arizona, 51.3. LA in 97.1. But for all the start, to your point, and I like to think this way, like maybe things would be different if they didn't get off to a good start. Yeah, they've gotten off to a good start. They have a 50-50 chance per Fangraphs right now to be a postseason team. The point is, there's so much work to be done, especially in this division when you're playing LA, Arizona, and San Francisco a ton moving forward.
It's not going to be easy. It's not. No one said that this was going to be easy. A couple teams have emerged to play much better than I think we all expected them to play to start this season.
St. Louis,
San Francisco.
Okay.
St. Louis.
Yeah. Chicago Cubs have been really good.
The Cubs, but they're more so going to win their division or at least be competing for the Central. I don't think they're going to be a wild card spot. I think that they're going to
win their division.
Remember when everyone wrote off Atlanta? They're back.
Yep.
Philly, the Mets, even though they had a bad series against the Yankees, they're still one of the best teams in baseball. So like this is going to be a gauntlet this year. It just is. And you got to avoid these types of series because you just hope this doesn't come back to bite you later in the season. Now it is one series. Okay. But again, what they have done this year is when they are bad, they're really bad. When they're good, they're really good. They can't at home get swept. Like you just can't have that happen. You got to put up more of a fight than they did this weekend. And this weekend, there was very little fight. Manny Machado, for his great start to the year, looked inept this series. I mean, he had an at bat yesterday that he swung on 3 straight pitches And even Mud in the booth was trying to like, all right, man, it's time to go to right center field here. And next pitch, he swings on a ball that's like 4 inches off, 5 inches off the plate. And you hear Mud go, ugh. Like it was just some really, really bad at bats this weekend by not just Manny, but everybody in that lineup, including Jackson Merrill, including Fernando Tatis Jr., even though he had a home run the other day. And then the bottom of the lineup is the bottom of the lineup. You know, it's a very top heavy team. We've talked about that. We knew that coming in, and when you're getting no production from the bottom, you're going to get series like this.
12-1 start at home. Since then, they are 4-7 in their last 11 at Petco, and now they're beginning a 6-game road trip, which I call a sneaky one. At Toronto, at Atlanta is what's coming up here for the Padres. Kevin Acee will join us in 15 minutes. Again, listen for that goal radio call from Adrian Garcia Marquez. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 to qualify to win a pair of tickets to see SDFC against Austin FC on May 31st. We'll hear from Mike Shildt on the other side. Kevin Acee will join us at 2:30. Listen for that goal sounder all day long. It's Jon and Jim. All right, San Diego Sports 760 has 13 chances to win $1,000 every weekday. It's the Bonus Bucks giveaway every hour, 6 a.m. through 6 p.m., which includes 3, 4, 5, and 6 p.m. coming up. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Listen for that goal call, an SDFC goal call. Scoreless draw this weekend, but when you hear that goal call 877-767-4760. We'll qualify a listener every hour and announce a winner of a pair of tickets for May 31st match against Austin FC. We'll announce that coming up at 5:30. We'll hear from Mike Shildt in a moment. Kevin Acee will join us, Jim, at 2:30. Here's the thing on Merrill that I wanted to touch on for 1 second is that when you start your year hitting 467, you know there's going to be a drop, right? Nobody hits 467. But what we both have noticed over the last handful of games since he came back from that stomach bug and had that huge game, it just feels like with each passing game, he's trying to do more and more. And he's put himself in this rut where he's actually slumping. And we rarely saw it last year, but he's clearly right now searching, slumping, pressing. And it's so rare to say that about Jackson Merrill, but I think it's a fair thing to say based on what we've seen the last 5 games.
1 for his last 19?
1 for his last 19, a single.
His worst stretch last year was 0 for 19?
Correct.
So this is exactly like last year.
Yep.
And last year, he did pretty well out of that slump, and he did pretty well during the season. And oh, by the way, kid should have won Rookie of the Year.
Yep, I agree.
Same situation here. You're in a worst slump of your season to this point. Last year you got out of it. When are you going to get out of it now? It's not about if he's going to get out of it. It's a matter of when he's going to get out of it.
I agree.
But I watching him the past week, I agree with you. Dude looks like he is trying a little too hard.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple moments over the weekend. He had opportunities. I think there's a bases loaded opportunity on Saturday night. Where he didn't come through and he just let out the biggest F-bomb ever. Caught it on TV and he was just visibly very frustrated. Now, visibly very frustrated because, hey, I didn't come through with my team, but also I'm slumping and, we're trailing. And so there's a whole thing that could have gone into that, not just the fact that he is in the middle of his worst slump of the season.
And in watching it too, the pitch that he swung at you texted me immediately. He swung at a pitch that you can't swing at the big leagues. No. I mean, it was 2 feet out of the zone.
Exactly. So he's swinging at pitches that you didn't see him swing at all this season. That's the first thing. Second thing, last Monday night, he had a great game.
Mm-hmm.
It was the night I completely jinxed him when I said best center fielder in baseball.
Right.
He had the amazing catch in center field. I had a couple hits at the plate. I think he drove in a couple runs.
He did. He had 3 hits overall, gave them a late lead that they then blew in the 9th.
Right. So it was shaping up to be the Jackson Merrill game.
Yep.
And then after the game, he was asked about his catch, and he immediately said, I don't care about anything I do. All I want to do is win. Now, do I like that attitude? Do I like how he is all about winning? Absolutely. I do. That is something that you wish almost every player had, that they want to win so badly. But at a point, we know how long baseball season is. It's a long year.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of just was like, you can appreciate what you just did tonight, dude. You don't have to be like, oh, it doesn't matter, I don't care.
It's not the NLCS.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, you're not down 3-1 in a best of 7 series.
You can be both. You can be frustrated with the team losing, but you can also be like, yeah, I think
it's a good point.
Had a great night tonight, or not say that, but come off like what you did that night was good, and he didn't. He completely dismissed it all. I don't feel like you can do that.
Yeah, you almost lead to, it's a really good point, like that Machado element, which is like, this is 162. Like you have to have a pace to everything about your business. Sometimes it's almost like his pace is slower than sometimes people want it to be. I'm talking about Manny Machado, but he's always going to get there. Where Jackson Merrill is treating this mid-May game like it's game 4 of the National League Championship Series. I want to hear from Mike Shildt. This is just a couple of minutes from him post-game after their swept. We'll get to Kevin Acee, who will join us in 7 minutes. But this was Mike Shildt post-game after the Padres were swept yesterday by the Mariners.
Do you attribute kind of what happened or didn't happen offensively this weekend to their pitching staff, clearly very good, and a couple of your big guys kind of not having the series they would maybe normally have.
Two good teams just went at each other. They threw the ball exceptionally well. They pitch well. Historically, they pitch well. They're doing it. I don't know about the entire season. Obviously, we prepped before it, and we saw it firsthand. The starting pitching was really good. Wu was really good today. All three of their starters were really good. A lot of different pitches located, changed speeds, had a clear plan, executed their pitches. Bullpen was really good. They've got different looks down there. Again, outside of a few innings, they pounded the strike zone, and I think that's a really big part of it. It's two good teams win each other, and we talk about they just got us in a couple areas that typically we get other people in. We were together. We were fighting our tails off. Preparation was good. Effort level was good. They just they threw more quality strikes than we did. Both teams played pretty clean defensively, and they were able to execute a little more consistently on offense. And like I said, some combination ace of their ability to make pitches in big spots. But that being said, we do have higher expectations with when we get opportunities to deliver more than we did this series, and we will, and we have, and we will, and but tip of the hat, and we'll figure out how to get back on it.
So those opportunities, do you just kind of chalk up like that as being part of baseball? Is there anything that needs to change in those runners as well?
No, I mean, listen, this is one of those things where, the game tests you. It actually is paints even clearer picture of when we're going well, which is a lot of the time what we do to help us win baseball games. And we've done that a lot, and we're going to do it again. It also proves conversely when you get into, face a club that's well-rounded in a lot of different areas like that club. That's a good team over there. They played really well. They played good baseball the whole weekend. But that's what, series are, figuring out the nuances of those series and where those edges are. And, we've won a lot of series. We're going to continue to win series, but just crystallizes like, you got to throw strikes, you got to execute with quality strikes. And when you get your opportunities against, especially, teams that have more consistent pitching, and way easier said than done. I'm not sitting here saying it's easy. But we can't alibi it either. We got to figure out a way to continue to take those good at bats. And sometimes, we still do that, and you don't get rewarded. And a couple of times that happened in this series too. So it's a combination of things. But there's no concern on my part at all. We'll just get back to playing our game. We know what that looks like, and we'll be ready on Tuesday.
How many times can you alibi something?
I don't know, but he said they're not going to alibi it, right?
Is he using that correctly?
No, well, that was my issue a year ago. We're not going to alibi it. He's trying to say we're not going to excuse it after he makes like a series of use excuses, and then be like, we're not going to excuse it.
Yeah, we're not going to excuse it, but
we're not going to make excuses.
Here's all the excuses for why these things didn't happen.
I will say this, and we've said this before last year. If you want to do the tip your cap, I'm cool with the one game if you're playing well, but you can't tip your cap to a series. That's not possible in the major leagues. You can't tip your cap to a rotation that, by the way, didn't have most of their, they're hurt. Like the Mariners rotation is on the IL. Now they had a very good pitcher. Brian Wu is very good, the guy that threw yesterday, but there's no excuse to score 3 combined runs in 3 games. There's no tipping your cap to 3 consecutive games to the Mariners.
No, the tipping of the cap is for one night.
Game, yeah. You run into someone, yeah.
You don't tip your cap for an entire series. You're right.
I've never heard of that,
That is that's the opposite of whatever Shildt trying to say when he's trying to say we're not going to alibi this. You're alibying it. You're tipping your cap.
That's exactly. That's the alibi. That's the excuse.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we ran into good starting pitching. Yeah, but you're supposed to have like dynamic hitting with Merrill, Machado, Tatis, Arise.
Right. And the problem is when those guys don't hit,
nobody else
is going to come through.
Yeah. I agree. All right, let's hear from Kevin Acee. He will join us on the other side, our Padres insider. Listen for that sounder when you hear the goal call from Adrian Garcia Marquez. Call 877-767-4760 to qualify for a pair of SDFC tickets against Austin on May 31st. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by the Jim Preller real estate team. Padres, they got swept this past weekend against the Mariners. They have an off day today, thankfully, before they start their next road trip tomorrow, starting in Toronto. The Eastern Conference and Western Conference Finals, they are set. T-Wolves and Thunder will meet in the Western Conference Finals. Pacers and Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. And SDFC over the weekend, they had a scoreless draw against Sporting Kansas City. They did pick up a point, though, in the match. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with the home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Preller has the buyers. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
All right, Kevin Acee back with us, Jon and Jim. He is in Toronto where the Padres will take on the Blue Jays beginning a 3-game series tomorrow afternoon, 4 p.m. Pacific from Toronto in Canada. And Kevin, we always appreciate you taking time for us. I wanted to start with you, Darvish. We'll get into this past weekend, but I heard what Mike Shildt said post-game, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on it or if there's something more in there because he made a rehab start on Wednesday. And now he's not scheduled to pitch in Toronto. So he's going to be, 8, 9, 10 days potentially between starts. Is there a reason as to why he's not going to be pitching this week in Toronto? And thanks for hopping on.
He's not ready. And, this is, as I've been saying all along, is being left largely up to you, Darvish. Obviously, everyone is involved, athletic trainers, physical therapists, AJ Preller, Ruben Niebla, Mike Shildt, but this is a guy who's been pitching for 20 years and has had a lot of maladies. Is now 38, and they're leaving it up to him, and he's got to feel ready. I think that they're all learning how to. They said before the start of the season that they were going to try to save bullets. So that Yu Darvish is ready at the end of the season. So they're not necessarily in a big hurry here. I don't think that anyone, including you, based on this is my, talking with people, thinks he needs another rehab start. But it's about when Yu Darvish feels comfortable pitching again. And so, he hasn't even done a bullpen yet. He's played catch. And we'll see here. We'll see. My understanding is could be Atlanta. Could be, the Marlins, the next one. Could be Pittsburgh. And that could well come without another rehab start. It's a matter of when Yu Darvish is ready to pitch.
Kevin, one of the players on the team right now that's in a funk and going through it is Jackson Merrill. We were talking about...
From my understanding. But anyway, let's go on.
Oh, we might have had you might have cut out.
Whoa, did you... Oh, it's my fault. Oh, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Oh, it's completely Jim's fault.
Oh, it's my fault. Yes, it's 100% my fault. Yes, I take the blame.
I'm sorry to have been so blunt, but I feel like you needed to hear it from someone new.
Yes. I've been hearing it from.
So how did this happen? Because Jim put on social media like he's the best center fielder in baseball. If you disagree, go argue with a wall. Since then, Pete Crow Armstrong has run circles around Jackson Merrill.
Yeah.
Jim gets tagged in everything.
Yeah.
And Jim takes some blame.
Well, and
I know you've been through this before, but what I want to say is welcome, brother, to my world. The dangers of talking about and writing about baseball is just how quickly things change.
Yep, exactly. I will.
And then they change back.
Yeah, and everything. Exactly.
You'll be fine. I
can take it, Kevin. You can take it. We can all take it.
And Jackson will come through for you pretty soon.
Yeah. Please, Jackson, please. You need to help me out, buddy. But we were talking about last Monday night where he has an amazing game. And after the game, I love the attitude from him, but he's just I don't care about what I did. We lost the game. I'm pissed off. And we know how much he cares. It does feel like, and tell me if you agree, if you've seen this, he's trying maybe a little too hard this week. It just feels like there's some at-bats where he's swinging at pitches that he doesn't normally swing at, and he's getting very frustrated with himself. It just feels like he's almost trying a little too hard.
I think that's probably fair to say. I am always reluctant just to extrapolate that because things can look a certain way, but I think you're probably right. I mean, that is often the case, or it's at least part of the case, right? Yeah. Heck, it's part of the case from my understanding when Manny Machado starts to chase, when Fernando Tatis Jr. starts to chase, when they don't look, quote unquote, like themselves. So I think it's fair for you to say, but like, you know, he also is in a slump, right? Like, I mean, it's a 5-game slump and he's in a slump. And, you know, he's now, one of the things that stuck out to me yesterday is he walked and took a called third strike, which he doesn't do. So he's clearly trying to do something different. And so I think that's another thing that could support your contention there.
Yeah, and again, we looked a year ago when he did quote unquote slump. It was for such a small sample size, which this is, by the way, as well to your point. So hopefully he bounces out of it soon for Padres fans and for himself. Kevin Acee is with us right now from Toronto. Obviously, we've detailed the issues that they've had in left field. No team's perfect. Oftentimes, teams need to be upgraded along the way. Is this a situation where you feel as if they're going to try to make some type of external change before at the deadline? Everything's on the table. I mean, that's 2 months from now, but could they need to make some type of change well before the deadline? Is that a possibility or not?
Yeah, it is. And could be increasingly like every day, right? I'm not saying they're done with the Gavin Sheets experiment. He had a bad play yesterday, right? And if he keeps hitting, you can put up with that. Now, then what do you do at DH every day, right? So there's a hole and they'll fill it. So, yeah. You know, Dennis reported and we've confirmed since that Oscar Gonzalez is no longer an option because he'll be signing with the Japanese team. And, you know, that's something that, look, I don't know that Oscar was going to be the solution anyway. I felt like he needed a little more time because of the promise he had, but I don't feel like the Padres were like, oh yeah, we still have Oscar Gonzalez because then he would have been up here anyway. So like, you know, yeah, I don't know who it is. That part of the answer I don't have for you, but yes, they cannot keep going with a guy who is rolling over on 3/4 of his you know, outs. And they knew that was a possibility. This is something they were talking about in spring training. You know, Jason Hayward, hope that works out, but you know, it was $1 million and we'll see.
Well, they're not going to alibi it, Kevin. That's for sure. Manny Machado, he had I think he was 0 in this series against the Mariners. Yep. Isn't it crazy how, you know, this shouldn't be the case in baseball, but it is. Like, when he goes, the team goes, and he might be the only player in baseball that you could say that about.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? That is true of, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm going to say, like, people argue with me, and it's true. Like, that's true of stars. That's why you have them, of most stars, right? But it's not as true. And you go ahead and pick something. Pick like this. Series where Manny goes hitless and lo and behold, the Padres get swept. Series where, or months where Manny is hot and the Padres, you know, go 16-10, or whatever. How about last year when, what were they, 37-1 when he had multiple RBIs? And I did the research and there wasn't anyone close to that. So yes, as Manny goes, the team goes. I don't know it's as much this year, but yes. I mean, first off, he's Manny. Second, he's in the 3-hole. So look, Manny Machado and Jackson Merrill were, quick math, was it 1 for 23 with 2 walks or something? Yeah, I think you might get swept every time if that happens.
Yeah, it's certainly not a good formula to win baseball games, as we saw this past weekend. You've written about this, Kevin. I mean, obviously the start was terrific. 14-3 is as good as any team can start, essentially, in baseball. But they've really come back to earth at 13-15 over their last 28 games. What's the primary culprit there? Has it been, you know, a year ago, their offense was really, really consistent. Move the line. I feel like we've seen less of move the line. We haven't seen the true power and slug that we were hoping to see. How would you explain their 13-15 run over the last month?
Well, yeah, that is true. And I'll start with injuries. Just like, okay, the number of guys key guys that you can include Jay Cronenworth in there because he's been moving the line. So as long as he's doing that, you have to say him being out was a huge deal.
Sure.
Jackson Merrill, huge deal, right? Because he was out during that stretch where he could almost not hit a ball 100 miles an hour and find a hole. So that's huge. The bullpen, right? Rough stretch during this time.
Yep.
And Jason Hayward. So there you go, right? Like that'll stop you from moving the line. So you had Jason Hayward and you didn't have Jay Cronenworth and Jackson Merrill. That's huge. Now you could talk about how, I don't know, whatever. Not the same team as last year, not as lucky. I don't know. But I'm going to go ahead and say you had Jason Hayward, who has been a void, and you did not have two really big guys. And so all of these things are valid in terms of run production, problem, home runs, problem. But I'll wait and see a little while longer when they have the full team together.
Would you consider this road trip kind of like a sneaky tough road trip for the Padres?
Oh, good one. Yeah, sure. Blue Jays always tough, right? And Braves getting better. They absolutely, they ambushed the Braves, right? Like the Braves were not the Braves. So fortunately for them, because the Padres are playing themselves into a wild card here. I'm joking. It's early. But they already have the tiebreaker over the Braves, no matter what happens in Atlanta this year. So that's good. But yes, I would consider this a sneaky, difficult road trip. And if you can go 4-2, obviously nothing's guaranteed, but you go home and face the Pirates and the Marlins. So this could be big, because then at the end of that comes Giants, Brewers, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Dodgers. Like it gets, I think then Phillies or I don't know. It's a rough June.
It really is. Kevin, before you go, how mad is everyone about the Maple Leafs in Toronto?
I heard some comments today. It's also like a holiday today. This is like their Memorial Day or something, or so like Victoria Day. I'm sorry, guys, I don't know what it is, but it's a holiday, so it's like dead here. But yeah, I think there were some people staying at my hotel. They were pretty upset about it. But yeah, I don't even know. I don't know.
Well, my last question was, how upset is everybody about the loss potentially of the Vetter Cup?
Ooh, well, I don't even see how. I mean, first off, you got to make up. Not only do you have to beat them all three, that run differential, we're not even going to get that exit velocity, right?
We probably won't.
The run differential was pretty bad. I mean, you guys really blew it with one run per game if you want to get that whatever special the guitar thing. So I'd say look forward to 2026.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you sound like Jon and Jim.
Yeah,
you sound like us.
Just move on to next year. It's fine.
Kevin, enjoy Toronto. We'll catch up with you later in the week, and thanks for hopping on.
Right on, guys. See you.
All right, great stuff from Kevin Acee. We can react on the other side. Be listening for that sounder when you hear it. Call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC Austin FC on May 31st. This is Jon and Jim. All right, make sure to download the all-new iHeartRadio app. Available right now in the App Store. Make sure to put us in your presets. Jon and Jim and San Diego Sports 760. We're available to you live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim with you. We just caught up with Kevin Acee. I want to talk about that Darvish storyline, which is critically important to the Padres. Also, this.
It's very weird.
It's very, 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 very weird. Okay, I want to discuss. But also, help on the way. Matt Waldron and Brian Hoeing are making rehab starts in Double-A tomorrow.
I have a question.
Are they even on the major league team once the rehab is over?
Can they play left field and can they hit the baseball?
No to the latter, as
Okay.
in they can't hit. Haven't we seen at some point in the last couple of years the Padres put like a position player, or excuse me, a pitcher in left field in a dire situation? Was there a game in the last like 6 years that happened?
Yeah, it was Joe Musgrove.
Thank you.
But-
So maybe these guys are, maybe Joe Musgrove's the answer in left. There it is. But he can't throw the ball back in.
No.
But he can then run over to the center fielder, Jackson.
And then he
and
can throw it
Jackson,
in.
thank you. And Joe
Easy.
can hit a little bit. He's an athlete.
Or Manny can just run out to left field and grab the ball from
Or
Joe.
even Xander, because Xander's on the left side.
I like Manny's arm better.
Me too. So problem solved.
Easy. And then can he hit?
No, not particularly well,
that's
probably.
a problem. That's a problem.
Is it though? Because their left fielders aren't hitting. Are they
Yeah,
going to do?
but
Is Joe Musgrove going to do worse?
I'm looking for somebody who is better and can actually hit the baseball in left field.
So Kevin just told us that it's up to you, Darvish, in terms of when we see him next. He threw Wednesday in a rehab start, and today is now what? Monday. So in the 5 days since, he has yet to throw a bullpen. He's also, according to Mike Shildt, he spoke on this yesterday after the game, not scheduled to start in the 3-game series in Toronto. So maybe he pitches this upcoming weekend in Atlanta. But Jim, isn't it odd that even if he throws in Atlanta, he'd be 9 or 10 days between starts on his way back to the major leagues? He knows his body better than I do, but no bullpens, not staying on regular rest or even an extra day or two as his wonky start to the year continues.
My Brian Windhorst, why would he do that? Antenna is up. Why is this happening? Why is he not starting in Toronto or just in the minors? Why is he skipping his start?
Why is he not throwing a bullpen?
Why does it sound like when people are talking about Darvish, something's going on here that they're not leading on and don't want to say?
I'm glad you not just health, because Shildt said, you heard this post game. We didn't play it earlier. He said he's going to do some throwing and deal with some personal. He said the P word.
Yep.
Didn't he? He mentioned personal. And I'm thinking, oh, that's interesting. And because it is interesting.
Look, the team is where they're at right now without Darvish. So It's not like they're missing something that they've already had. It's like right now. It's like, are you going to, I would love $1 million, but am I missing $1 million? I never had $1 million to begin in the first place.
Good point.
So they never had Darvish here to begin with in the first place this year. So are they really missing him? Yes, he would be an addition to the team. Absolutely. If he is healthy, you'd much rather have him pitching out there than maybe Randy Vasquez. Even though Randy Vasquez has pitched pretty well this season for them, all things considered, or Stephen Kolek, right, or Matt Waldron, or whoever else you'd want to throw out there, as your fifth starter or your fourth starter or whatever. But they haven't had him this year, and they still are doing well without him as far as the rotation goes.
Fair.
I am much more concerned about what they're going to do in left field than I'm concerned with Darvish right now. Darvish, to me, if he's not back in the next couple weeks, then I'm just going to say, well, why even try to rely on the guy? I don't feel like he's going to give this team anything this year. And whatever he gives them, if he does, it's gravy. It's like a cherry on top.
What about the argument that you're right? They've gotten to this point without him, and they probably do have more pressing needs considering how successful their rotation has been, but aren't they going to need him? And if they didn't have him, now AJ could play. If AJ truly knew they wouldn't have him, or he came back and he wasn't healthy or effective, you could deal with it between now and the deadline. But can they? Because there's two things at play. A, your system hasn't been fully restocked. You're not trading Leo DeVries, Ethan Salas, to the best of our knowledge. B, they're over luxury threshold number 2. So just add a starter. Just add a left fielder.
Yeah, it's
Just
easier said than
add
done.
a catcher. You know what I mean? Like the best players at those positions are making $10+ million per year. Look at Seattle's catching situation. They just gave that guy $100 million. Or look what it costs to go get a top flight starter if you actually didn't have Darvish. I agree with you. They're here and they've been good. But can they maintain it for 162 if Darvish really didn't give them any value this year?
I think so, yes. Because last year, I just used last year as a reference. They got through
Musgrove.
They got through majority of the season with just 2 guys.
Right.
And Nick Pivetta is replacing the loss of Musgrove and the loss of Darvish. Those 2 guys last year, they gave you a combined how many innings?
Less than 200 or 200 maybe?
Oh, way less than 200, Joe. And you?
I thought they were both in the 100 range.
No, Darvish last year had under 100 innings. It was like 86 or 88 innings. I don't know how many games
a year ago threw 81 2/3.
Okay.
You're right. And Joe Musgrove a year ago threw 99 2/3. So they gave you 180.
So
exactly.
You're probably going to get not 180 innings maybe from Nick Pivetta, but you can get 170 innings.
Yeah, absolutely. You could get 180. You're right.
So that's the replacement there is Nick Pivetta.
Right.
The thing is, they need Darvish when it comes postseason time because they need that 4th starter. You don't really want to go out in a 5-game series and have a guy throw on 3 days rest because that was a disaster last year.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you need a 4th starter. Darvish is a perfect 4th starter for you in the postseason. And then when you get to a 7-game series, you're going to need that 4th starter. But for the regular season, I think they can get there without him. I think they can. I would love to have you, but I mean, I don't know what's going on here with him.
I guess you're right. I do agree with you, but it's also contingent on the health of everyone else.
That is true. Everything is.
Everything is. But like
else.
I've been. We spend so much time on look at Xander's contract or look at this or look at that. I mean, they need production from Darvish. Considering what they're paying him, considering what he potentially means to a postseason rotation.
Well, yes, that is true. You're paying him a good amount of money. He needs to produce.
He's got now again. If he's hurt, he's hurt. I mean, we can't force him to do it if he's not effective. But I'm with you. Like my antennas are up. Why did he make a rehab start, and why is he not pitching the next time he's supposed to pitch?
What's going on here? Why would he do that?
It just to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense. All right, on the other side, did the Padres dodge a bullet? And therefore, did the Mets make a huge mistake? Plus, we're going to hear from Colin Cowherd on that Brock Purdy deal. If you missed Kevin Acee, we'll have it back for you in the 4 o'clock hour. But also be listening for that sounder when you hear it. Call 877-767-4760. It's a goal call sounder. When you hear it, 877-767-4760. You'll be qualified to win a pair of tickets to see SDFC Austin FC May 31st at Snapdragon Stadium. This is Jon and Jim.
Chucky Lozano went chuk, boom!
All right, this update's brought to you by the Jim Patrell Real Estate Team. Padres getting swept this past weekend by the Mariners. They have an off day today. They start a 3-game series in Toronto tomorrow night. The Eastern and Western Conference Finals, they are set. T-Wolves will take on the Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. Then in the Eastern Conference Finals, Pacers versus the Knicks, with the Knicks having home court advantage there. And SDFC over the weekend, they had a scoreless draw versus Sporting Kansas City, and they picked up a point in their match. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Patrell is the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. And again, be listening, Jim,
Okay.
to the show, because you've got a chance to win a pair of tickets to see SDFC on May 31st against Austin FC. We'll qualify another listener this hour. You'll listen for that goal call from their play-by-play voice, Adrian Garcia Marquez. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to be entered to win. We'll have a qualifier this hour, in the 4 o'clock hour, and in the 5 o'clock hour. And then at 5:30, we'll announce the winner of that pair of tickets to see SDFC at Snapdragon Stadium in 2 weekends.
Love it. Can I say something?
I mean, sure, it is a radio show, so typically that would be the par for the course.
What's the Padres record?
If you are correct in what you just replied to someone on social media, 27-18, 45 games in.
Is that good?
It is. It is good.
This isn't the "is that good" segment that comes up later in the show.
Yeah, just asking, is it good? Yeah,
just asking, is that good?
It's exactly a 600 win percentage, which would be among the top winning percentages in the history of the franchise if they could do it all year.
Okay, so yeah, that's good.
It's good.
I've seen a lot of this over the weekend, the doom and gloom, and don't get me wrong, I've doom and gloomed with the best of them.
Who are you?
I've doomed and gloomed with the absolute best of them. So I get it. But a 3-game sweep at the hands of the Mariners over the weekend should not, by any circumstance, turn into season's over. This team's awful. This team sucks. I knew this team was the worst team in baseball. They should trade everybody. This team's a bunch of frauds, blah, 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 blah.
Right. Like Padre fan on social with 0 followers who says this team should never have brought this team out of spring training.
It's like, not just that person, by the way. It's a lot of people that I've seen on social media losing their absolute minds that the Padres got swept over the weekend to the Mariners. Guys, they're in a good position. Do they have things that they need to work on? Yes. Do they need a left fielder? Yes. All things considered, how many series are going to go by this year where Manny and Merrill are combined 1 for 23 in the series? Not a lot. How many times are the Padres going to not hit with runners in scoring position? Probably not a lot, because guess what? Their numbers with runners in scoring position is a top 10 team in baseball.
Yeah, so it's one of those weekends. I mean, listen, I talked people off the ledge off the Rays home sweep, and then they won 6 straight. Right. The difference in the Rays home sweep and this weekend was the health of the Padres. The Rays home sweep did not include Arraez or Merrill. Mm-hmm. This includes Arraez and Merrill. But I'm with you that over the course of a year, this is inevitable. It is inevitable. You are going to get swept. You prefer not to get swept at home. I understand it. But they have been swept at home, and they're still playing well enough at home overall. Listen, I completely agree with you. If I do have a legitimate concern, though, it's like when I go to a Fangraphs, and this is just numbers, and things change every day. And, they're in good position, but not perfect position for a playoff spot. It's fine. It's only May. What really begins to scare me is June. I don't know why I feel this way, but I look at this schedule and I see 7 of 10 against the Dodgers, or road trips to San Francisco, or something like 14 of 17 on the road. and it can unravel. Now, it doesn't mean it will. They can play like they played earlier and have a 14-3 stretch in them. I just feel like these 12, Toronto, Atlanta, Miami, Pittsburgh, in whatever order, I think I got that right. You better play decent enough because these are not the 12 to not play well in when June is coming and the schedule definitely stiffens. So, all right, Mulligan, you got swept at home by Seattle. That's fine, but time to play better over these next 12 games.
And I'll pull a Shildt here.
Okay.
Not going to alibi this weekend. This weekend was awful.
Right.
This weekend sucked. They were really bad.
Right.
They did nothing right. But like I just mentioned, they're still 27 and
it's a good record.
18.
Mm-hmm.
Good record. You think the Dodgers would love to have the Padres pitching right now? They're going through so many injuries up in LA. Now they have an elite offense, like an absolute elite offense that's carrying them. But all things considered, they're still in a good spot. Are there concerns that are very concerning me?
Are there concerns that are concerning? Yes.
Yes, there is.
Yeah.
But all in all, Jackson Merrill is not going to continue to go 0 for every game. Manny Machado is eventually going to get his 4th home run of the season. He's like eventually going to hit some balls that go over the fence. They're going to be a better team. I'll agree with Mike Shildt on that. Like they're going to be fine. And I just don't understand the complete meltdown this weekend from people. Like absolute meltdown.
Fan. The word is fan.
Yeah.
Fanatic. I mean, I get it. I get your point. I think your point is spot on. You mentioned Manny. We talked about this last night. Manny's power struggles honestly make no sense when you look at the advanced numbers, and he's in the 90th percentile in average exit velocity. He's in the 90th percentile in expected slugging. He's in the 90th percentile in bat speed. He's in the 95th percentile in hard hit percentage. Now, you mentioned last night his barrel percentage is lower, and you're right. It is. It's at 64%.
Barrel percentage talk.
But there's a lot of indicators that would tell you he's been among the best hitters in the sport to start the year. And for whatever reason, it's only added up to 3 home runs. And it's not like Luis Arraez stuff when you've got a high expected slug and a high expected exit velocity and a high bat speed. Yet he's only hit 3 home runs. That's why I still believe Manny will get there. You look up and you say, well, he's hit 3 in 45 games. Is he really only going to hit like 10 home runs this year? Of course not. Now, is he going to get to 30 home runs? Remember, we doubted him last year. I'm like, how is he going to get there? And he had 23 in his last 83 games. So I'm going to bet on Manny. I think he's going to hit 30 home runs this year, even though he's hit 3 in the middle of May. It's crazy. I think he'll hit 30 home runs.
This exact time last year, he had 5 home runs and 23 RBIs.
So he was like Ohtani last year.
Well,
you're saying he had more power last year, but his overall numbers were way worse.
Way worse. He was hitting 217 with a 611 OPS.
Yeah, I'll take this man.
This man, he's hitting 313 right now, or what is he hitting? He's hitting well over 300.
Yeah,
and he's got an OPS in the 800s. So what is not there is his power. But if you are looking for reference to last year's power numbers at this exact same time, 5 home runs, 23 RBIs. Right now, 3 home runs, 20 RBIs.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty similar.
Yeah.
Pretty similar.
I agree.
And you just mentioned he had 23 home runs in his final 80-something games.
83.
Now that will be
that's a tall order.
Yeah, it's a big ask there to do that again this season. But he's capable. And I'd much rather have this version of Manny than last year's version of Manny because we were freaking the F out with last year's version of Manny.
It was bad for the first half. Those first 70 games, he was calling himself out in Philadelphia, and that's when he turned his season around. But we had someone last night telling us, you're already seeing the signs of his aging. The contract's aging poorly. And I'm like, again, that's the overreaction I'm talking about. Like that to me is such an extreme overreaction. Yes, he was hitless this weekend. Yes, that's obviously not good. He's hitting 317 so far this year. You haven't seen any aging of Manny Machado based on these numbers. His career OPS is 827. His OPS this year is 847. We're not seeing the decline of Manny Machado. One day we will. Thankfully, we're not seeing it with this 32-year-old player. If you judge it on one category, home runs, okay. He's hit just 3, you're right. It's not a big number. That's fair. Look at everything else. He plays every single day. He's hit for average. I mean, he's been good. Can he be better? Yes, because we've seen it. But I don't think what we've seen in the first 45 games is any reason to be like, bad contract. It's aging so poorly. I'm like, are you serious? I've seen this guy start way worse than he started in 2025.
And if you want to dive deeper into Manny's numbers here, like with runners in scoring position this season, he's hitting 366. Is that good?
I can't believe he's hitting 366. But then you mentioned you found the clutch hitting numbers, which aren't near as good.
So all of his numbers this year, you would look and you go, dang,
wow,
those are pretty good. Like average wise on base, his OPS, like, okay, that's pretty good. But then you get to the late game, close game numbers, and they're bad. In late game and close game, he's hitting 150. So I would consider that, and they have it here, 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. In the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, he's doing this. 7th innings hitting 200, 8th inning, 231, 9th inning, 167. With one home run. That one home run was in Pittsburgh.
And it was a big one.
It was a huge one. Yeah. He has 6 RBIs in late game situations. One home run, 6 RBIs.
That's not much.
No. And when you're hitting third in that lineup, you know, you're going to be expected if you come up in a late game situation when the game is close to come through. And so far, Manny has not done that this year at all, besides that one game in Pittsburgh.
I agree.
So if you want to look at Manny's season and you want to break it down and you want to say, what you're concerned about, yes, I'm concerned about the home runs, but track record shows that he's going to hit home runs as it gets warmer outside. Hell, he may have 2 home runs in Toronto this week. But when you look at the late game in situations and when the team it's in a close game, like, yeah, you want to point that out? Absolutely, because he has not come through for this team this year in close game situations.
All right, listen for that goal call from Agent Garcia Marquez. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for your chance to qualify to win 2 free SDFC tickets against Austin FC on May 31st at Snapdragon Stadium. On the other side, did the Padres dodge a bullet? We'll explain. Plus, if you miss Kevin Acee, you'll hear him coming up at 4:30 as well. Great giveaways today, including those SDFC tickets. It's Jon and Jim. All right, San Diego Sports 760 has 13 chances to win $1,000 every weekday. It's the Bonus Bucks giveaway every hour, 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Jon and Jim with you. Again, be listening for that goal sounder call for a chance to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC. When you hear the goal call 877-767-4760. Did you see this report from, it wasn't from John Boy, but that's where I saw it. And it's on Juan Soto. By the way, the Mets have gotten off obviously to a really good start as a team. But according to a reporter that covers the Mets, MLB columnist with the Newark Star-Ledger, Bob Clappish, okay? He says that the Mets hierarchy is concerned about Juan Soto's lack of enthusiasm. Now, Jeff Passan this afternoon has followed up on some reporting that's out there on Soto. He wrote this to clear up what others have asserted. Juan Soto does not fly separately from his Mets teammates on a private jet. He flies on the team plane. There is no private jet provision in his contract for him or his family. Is Juan Soto in like month one wearing out his welcome to this? I mean, the Mets have been really good, but again, there's been criticism this past weekend with the Mets struggling in that Subway Series against the Yankees.
Dude, if you're making as much as Juan Soto and you're playing in New York, the expectations are through the roof, dude.
You saw the ball he didn't run out?
Yep. That was not good.
That's not going to go over well in New York.
Nope. When you're getting paid as much as you're getting paid, you have to play full speed like almost all the time, especially in New York. You can get away with it in like Kansas City
against the Yankees
or Pittsburgh or Sacramento or San Francisco, mate. Like the Yankees. Here, you get, but like in New York, you're not getting away with that crap. You're just not. I think it's interesting because the same stuff was going on here with Juan Soto, like as far as like his personality goes. Remember the All-Star game where he was like energetic and he showed personality, and we're all like, where's that Juan Soto been?
Right.
And then he just kind of put his head down here, just went out and played, and that was that.
Mm-hmm.
Now he did put up really good numbers in 2023. You know, the team sucked, but he is going to get scrutinized and looked at from every single angle, and the microscope is going to be on Juan Soto for his remaining time in New York as a Met. It just is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if these reports are true or not. It's just one person that I don't think I've ever heard of before. I don't know how many things they've gotten right or how closely they cover the Mets and whatnot, but still, when Juan Soto gets paid that much money, he's going to get criticized if he's not playing at an elite level.
I mean, similarly to Manny, you look at his Savant page, it jumps off the page. I mean, he's in the 95th percentile in 5, 6, 7 categories. So it's Juan Soto. Now, he hasn't gotten off to the world's best start numerically. He's hitting 246, but his OPS is good because he walks. I mean, he's hit 8 home runs. So it hasn't been perfect. But then again, he's also switched teams and once again switched leagues. And again, the expectations are when you sign a contract like the one he signed that he's going to win MVP. I get it. I mean, 15 years, $765 million in New York City. The expectation is you're going to win like 5 World Series with the Mets. It's not realistic. He's not going to win 5 World Series with the Mets. They may not win any World Series, the Mets, with Juan Soto. Maybe they will. But again, when you're a high-profile athlete in New York, you really, if you're Juan Soto, you need to stay away from some of those reports. Like, hey, he's not a good teammate, or what Jeff Passan wrote today about, like, they need to clarify that he's flying with the team. This is stuff that, like you said, popped up here. It popped up. Hey, is he a good clubhouse guy? Mm-hmm. Is he someone that brings the team together or pulls them apart? Why didn't they play well in 2023? Not because of his on-field play, but did anything off-field have to do with some of the Padres struggles in 2023? Then again, last year he was in the World Series.
Did you see what Michael Kay was saying today on his radio show?
I did, but remind me.
That according to his sources, Soto wanted to re-sign with the Yankees, but his family wanted him to go to the Mets. So because of that, that's why they chose the Mets.
Why would your family, like, you know what I mean?
New
like,
York.
Both are, yeah, like they're separated by a few miles, and your family's like, you got to be with the Mets, not the Yankees. I wonder why.
I don't know.
So there's a lot of reporting then in the last couple of days on is it dissatisfaction or just again it was the Subway Series. So it's a high profile series, but it's a little odd. We saw a little bit of oddities with Soto when he was here. At the end of the day, I'll take his production.
I will take his production at the end of the day as well. And what it's also showing right now, and again, plenty of time for Juan Soto to prove his contract. If they will win a World Series, no one's going to care. Or wins MVPs, like no one's going to care. Like that's what he's paid to do. But it's further proving the point that no one's worth that type of money, except for maybe Shohei Ohtani, and probably only Shohei Ohtani. Nobody's worth $750 or $800 million in baseball. Not one player. It's just not.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
The only person that you could argue it is Shohei Ohtani. He brings back so much in endorsements and revenue. And oh, by the way, he goes out there and he produces. And the way that he, as I put air quotes, he can, did his contract with the Dodgers. He's only getting paid $1 million a year. So,
$2 million.
Or $2 million a year.
Well, that's why you're right. Ohtani's already got a World Series, so it's going to be very hard at any point in the near future to poo-poo what he got. But this Soto deal, to your point, is kind of you're set up to fail.
Yeah.
When you sign in New York for the richest deal in the history of American sports, what do you have to do to live up to that in New York? Seriously, win multiple,
win at least a World Series. You have to win at least 2 MVPs. You have to be an all-star every single year.
Dude, A-Rod with the Yankees won 1, and his career is largely looked at as a complete afterthought.
Yeah.
Like you gotta perform at such a high level. Now there's a difference between the Yankees and the Mets, but you got to perform at such a high level that more power to him. Listen, at the end of the day, he can put his head on the pillow at night and his pillow is made of money.
Right.
Like it's stuffed with actual cash.
He's making money while he sleeps. Like that's how rich this dude is.
I mean, what is even the math on how much money he is making per se? I mean, the money is so absurd.
He's making thousands of dollars just doing nothing.
Eating a bowl of cereal, he's making more than we make in like a year.
Like if I was him, I would walk around and be like, oh, made $1,000 there. Oh, made another $1,000 there.
They can write whatever they want in the New York Post.
I'm going to the bathroom. Oh, made $1,000 doing that. Like what?
He could buy the New York Post for $770 million would be my guess.
Maybe.
All right. On the other side, we have updated Major League Baseball power rankings, Jim.
Oh!
And we will share those with our listeners. Plus, is that good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. Also, again, be listening for that goal sounder call from Adrian Garcia Marquez. When you hear a call, 877-767-4760. And one of you will be qualified to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC against Austin FC May 31st at Snapdragon Stadium. This is Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by the Jim Petrell real estate team. Padres got swept over the weekend by the Mariners. They start a 3-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow night. Moving over to the NBA, the Eastern and Western Conference Finals are set. T-Wolves are going to take on the Thunder, Knicks, and Pacers. And then SDFC over the weekend had a scoreless draw for Sporting Kansas City, where they picked up a point in their match. Would you like to know what your home would sell for today? Get a simple text message with your home's value by texting your address to 855-600-6000. You'll get no phone call, just a text. Jim Petrell as the buyer. Simply text your address to 855-600-6000.
All right, by the way, you can always text us 70470, start it with team, or call us 877-767-4760. Be listening for that goal call sounder. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win SDFC tickets for May 31st. We'll qualify someone every hour and announce the winner at 5:30. This is my favorite text of the day, by the way, Jim. All right, 70470.
What does it say? I'm an idiot.
Basically, 619. I blame Jim Russell for the Padres' horrible weekend. He belittled the importance of the Vetter Cup, which led to the players not taking it seriously. So your messaging went right into that clubhouse, and then out of the clubhouse produced a team that thought they were just going to walk onto the field and win because of what you had to say about the Vetter Cup. Do you think that's fair and realistic?
Yeah,
100%, right?
Yeah. I take the blame for this one again.
Yeah.
You can blame me for Merrill struggles. You can blame me for the bullpen struggles. And now you can blame me for the Vetter Cup this past weekend, where the Padres are clearly not going to win it. And you just know that Eric Grupner is sitting somewhere very upset that he's not going to be able to accept that Vetter Cup guitar trophy on the field whenever that was going to be presented.
I will turn the TV off the second the Mariners win the Vetter Cup if they do.
Oh, yes.
Before they celebrate that thing, click.
Oh, no.
I don't need to see them celebrate with guitar. Right? I can't live with that. What do you got, bro?
Come on, this is our dream scenario. They just have to win the 3 games in Seattle, and then it all comes down to exit
run
velo,
differential
just like
and
we
exit
wanted.
velocity.
Oh, it's perfect.
Everything's fine. Well, they're behind in run differential because they've been swept.
I did think it was kind of funny how, Shildt got busted for, I love Pearl Jam. Can you name a Pearl Jam song?
No.
No, I can't do that.
Nobody could name a Pearl Jam song.
So maybe that was bad
Either
karma.
team.
Oh, on the teams. You're right.
Oh, Seattle couldn't either?
No, they asked JP Crawford, Heidi Watney.
Yeah.
Asked him on Apple TV on Friday night after the game, like, hey, congratulations on the win. You had a couple of hits. And then she's like, oh, by the way, game 1 of the Vetter Cup. Like, what's your favorite, Pearl Jam song? He's like, yeah, that one, that one. And then he walked away. I think he was making fun of it maybe. So both teams are doing the same thing.
Yeah, it was in full force on what was it, Saturday night with the local broadcast, because Friday
CBS
was the Apple
8, right?
Yeah, but Friday was the Apple TV Plus broadcast. Then we got to the local broadcast on Saturday. They did a announcer swap. Mud went over to the Mariners side. They had their color guy come over to the Padres side, so they were fully into it. And then I feel by yesterday afternoon, it was just dead. Nobody was talking about it.
Yeah, I'm
and
kind
the
of over it.
broadcast.
I'm not going to in August. I'm not talking about it. Seriously, we dedicated
again?
Yeah, I'm over it.
Oh, it's the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah,
it's the dumbest thing ever. They tried, didn't work. Probably gonna have to try something else next year, or just I don't know, just play the games and not have these stupid things right up.
They're going to sell tickets either way.
Yeah, exactly. No one's going to their family or their kids or their girlfriend or whatever.
Want to go to the Vetter Cup?
Hey, honey, the Vetter Cup is this weekend.
Hey, no, imagine this. Hey, guys, do you want to go see Padres Mariners? No. Well, do you know it's the Vetter Cup? Oh,
I'm in.
Let me go grab a sweater. Okay, speaking from something that is completely inconsequential to something that matters. MLB Power Rankings. All right.
Thank you. About time.
So finally, something of importance.
Seriously,
the Padres have slid, man. Honestly, as much as I'm over the Vetter Cup is how much I'm over the MLB Power Rankings, but I'll never stop mentioning them when I see updates. The Mariners have passed the Padres in the MLB Power Rankings. Are you okay with that based on this weekend? I mean, yeah, they swept the Padres at Petco, so I guess in theory that makes sense. The Padres have slid all the way to 8th.
Oh, are you serious?
8th. You know the number 1 MLB Power Ranking team in baseball? Not the number 1 team. The number 1 team in the power rankings.
Oh, number 1,
right?
It's the Dodgers, right?
No. It's the Detroit Tigers. who I think have the best record in baseball. So
Jason
forget
Benetti.
about why even
Good
play
job,
the yeah, my buddy.
Jason.
Why even play the postseason?
Why play any more games? It's over.
It is done.
It's completely over. Tigers are your 2025 World Series champions.
Here's your top 8. Just hear me out. All right, Tigers,
Okay.
Dodgers,
Okay.
Yankees,
Okay.
Mets, despite the Soto situation, Cubs,
Okay.
Phillies,
Okay.
Mariners,
Okay.
and then the Padres. So there it is. There it is.
Well, that just is a huge downer for a Monday.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they were number 2 in power rankings, I think, last week.
What the hell, man?
They went from 3 to 8, but that's their own fault for how they played.
Who should I be mad at?
CBS Sports,
I'm mad at you, CBS Sports.
Matt Snyder.
Matt Snyder, I'm mad at you.
I'm not worried about the power rankings, truthfully. but what I am worried about is the upcoming road trip.
What does their paragraph say verbatim? Read it.
Well, I'll read you the paragraph because this is where I got one of my stats from earlier in the show, which is like they don't score. Or the Padres have scored 21 runs in their last 7 games.
Yeah, they actually don't score. They're not a good run scoring team.
Not right now. Okay, this is what it says about the Padres. 8th best team in baseball. Have you ever heard someone yell something like, save those runs for later, when a team is blowing out another and keeps scoring?
Yes.
The Padres scored 34 runs May 9th and 10th. They've scored 21 runs in the 7 games since.
Yucky.
So basically taking a shot at the offense, which I do think is legitimate. I'm not concerned about the offense. I'm concerned about when we're going to see it come to fruition with power. I'm not concerned about Merrill, Arise, Machado, who Tatis hitting. I'm not. But I am wondering if they're going to be a decent slug team or not, because the longer this plays out, the more reason there is to believe that they have a serious lack of power. Hopefully Machado rectifies it. Hopefully Merrill rectifies it. But that is an offensive concern for me.
Well, when you say you're waiting for the power numbers to come, I feel like you're just saying that about one person, because you're not going to get that from Luis Arise. You're not going to get that from Xander Bogaerts.
Right.
Gavin Sheets has done more than enough so far this year. He has 6 homers on the season. You're probably going to top out between 15 and 20 with him. Like, to ask for anything more than that, that's too much. You're getting nothing out of your left fielder. You're going to get nothing out of your catcher. Jake is a guy that can get you 18 to 20 bombs. Okay. But still, that's a far cry from a 30 spot. So what you're saying basically is you're just waiting for one guy or maybe 2.
Okay. Or your point's valid. Or am I waiting for the friendship innings like last year, where they moved the line and you looked up and said, how on earth with 5 singles did they score 7 runs?
Well, they can't do that this year because the bottom half of the lineup is.
You're saying
not
without
good.
Solano, Peralta, Higgy, that's going to happen with less regularity.
They don't have that key piece that can get them to turn over the lineup at the bottom of the order.
Right.
They just don't have that. Hayward's awful. Lockridge, nothing. Tyler Wade's gone MIA. You're not getting a consistent at bats from your catcher spot, even though they're going to maybe pop a homer here or there. Jose Iglesias, I mean, he's got a 500 and I think it's like 572 OPS or something along those lines. Like,
so all singles.
Yeah, you're not getting anything from there. So like, you don't have that consistent guy or guys, the bottom of your lineup, that's going to continue to turn over the lineup.
Right.
Jackson Merrill was hitting 7th last year for this team.
Good point.
Jason Hayward's hitting 7th for this team this year.
Is that a big difference?
Kyle Higashioka was hitting 8th or 9th last year for this team. You got Elias Diaz and Martin Maldonado hitting 8th or 9th. You don't have a complete team. They are top heavy. They are relying on their top 4 guys in their lineup. And if those guys don't come through, more often than not, they're not going to win many ball games. You're not going to be carried by Gavin Sheets and Jake Cronenworth and Martin Maldonado most nights, unless you win those games like 3-1 or 2-0 or 1-0.
So a year ago, I just did the math. They averaged 4.7 runs per game. They scored 760 runs.
It's good.
last
That's
year.
good.
This year, it's actually sneaky, not bad. It's 4.42. The caveat being the 21 run game throws everything off.
It's
because if they
skewed
didn't
number.
have that game, which again they did, but if they didn't, let's take it out. All right, let's just pretend like the game didn't exist. 178 would be the run total. They'd be averaging 4.05 runs per game. So they'd be 0.7 of a run less per game than last year, if not for that one game in Colorado.
Yeah, they're a team that averages barely 4 runs a game.
Right.
With the 21 run game, like not in the equation.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like such an outlier type of game, and it skews the numbers. It makes it look better than it really is.
Yep. No, I agree.
Like when you have, if you had a game where you hit like, I don't know, 4 home runs, and that it doesn't happen, but like say Manny hit 4 home runs in a game, and then he goes an entire 2 months without any home runs. It's like, well, the numbers are gonna be skewed
because he had the 4 home run game.
Yeah,
right.
Or like a Xander, when he has those like big RBI games, like 15 RBIs, it's really good, but there's also doing them in big chunks. And so over the course of the season, it's like, can you spread those out a little bit more?
Right. Exactly. No, it's exactly right. All right. On the other side, we'll get to Is That Good? The best and worst of the sports weekend. Be listening for that goal call. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC against Austin FC on May 31st at Snapdragon Stadium. The best and worst of the sports weekend. That's next on Jon and Jim.
Goal! Chucky Irving! Chucky Lozano went chuk, boom!
All right. AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation now. Keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates apply. I went to my first SDFC game this weekend.
How was it?
Well, I want to discuss when we have more time. No, I could discuss now because we're going to get to Is That Good, the best and worst.
You sent me a picture and I was like,
weekend.
oh, look at you.
Oh, yeah. Of course, the first match I decided to go to. Now, my buddy, who's a neighbor, just started working there a couple of weeks ago. So he had tickets for us, which is super cool. So we took Jones, and our neighbor has a 6-year-old as well. The issue was when you take a 6-year-old to a 7:30 start, you're not going to make it until the end because he's normally asleep well before the end. But it went well, other than the fact that basically Jones got upset that they didn't score because he didn't understand. He's like, they kept like attacking, but then not scoring. And by the 60th minute, I kid you not, he started bawling. I'm like, what is wrong? He's like, every time they try to score, they don't. I'm like, it's going to happen. It's like the Padres, same thing. It's like they load the bases sometimes and don't score. Did you watch like this past weekend? So what I figured was this. I thought we'd leave like in the 70th minute and then there'd be like 6 goals, like the most exciting match ever.
Yeah.
And we were listening on the way home and everything sounded great. And it was just scoreless. So scoreless draw. We were there for 70 minutes. It was scoreless. There was no scoring from that point forward. They take the point. We enjoyed ourselves. I mean, it was raining to start, but then it stopped raining, thankfully, for the match. So it was an enjoyable experience. I would have liked to see them score for Jones, not necessarily for me. But I tried to, he would get into it every single time they would attack.
Yeah.
And then when they didn't score, he thought it was like his fault, which it really wasn't.
No, it was actually your fault.
It was probably my fault.
Yeah.
Just like it's your fault that Jackson Merrill can't hit anymore.
I when you sent me those texts, I was like, yeah, if they lose tonight,
it's on me.
That's 100% on you. And they didn't lose. It picked up a point. But as Mike Yvara says, when you pick up only a point at home, it feels like you lost an opportunity. You lost 2 points there.
And the Sporting Kansas City, listen, I'm no expert on Major League Soccer. They didn't look overly motivated to win. They did nothing on offense. While I was there, did they have a shot? While I was there, I don't think they had a shot. Sporting Kansas City. I think after I left, they had some shots. I think they hit the post after I left. But it seemed as if San Diego was doing most of the work and like seemed destined to score or win. And then that's just sports sometimes. Baseball, soccer, that happens.
They had 2 shot attempts in the entire match.
2 shot attempts.
1 shot on goal.
Yeah. So I think when we were there, kid you not, they didn't have any.
In comparison, SDFC had 10 shot attempts and 5 shots on goal.
That should be 2 points, not 1.
Possession favored SDFC almost 66%.
Don't you think they should get 2 points? Like, why is Sporting Kansas City getting a point for that?
Also, SDFC had 8 corner kicks. 8.
And let me guess, Kansas City had like 1.
2.
Right.
So yeah, that was a game
was lopsided.
That Sporting Kansas City came in and said, let's just make this kind of ugly and come out here with a draw.
True, but they didn't even make it that ugly. Like San Diego had some chances. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
They certainly had some chances. They just didn't score. Also, Chucky Lozano, it looked like might have left this match due to like a head injury or concussion and then bounced right back up.
Yeah, that was kind of scary.
It was super scary. There was like this really dangerous collision right in front of us. And that's when we went to get cotton candy. All right. Coming up at the 4:00 hour. Again, if you missed Kevin Acee, we'll share that with you coming up at 4:30. We have SDFC tickets to give away. When you hear that goal sounder, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win tickets for SDFC on May 31st. But right now, let's get to this.
I'll start with a game 7 that we all were hoping was going to be good, but it really wasn't. The Thunder with another blowout win, this time beating the Nuggets, advancing to the Western Conference Finals, winning by over 30 points. Brent, is that good?
No,
it's not good.
Not good.
Awful. It was like tied at
the game. I wanted
bad,
a good game 7, not a 25-point
game was
blowout.
awful. It was tied at 40, and then a minute later, it was a 40-point game.
Aaron Gordon's out there on one leg.
Yeah, that was probably a bad decision.
Yeah, he only hurt his team. He didn't help his team.
Exactly. Yep.
Jokic was completely MIA, and I think the Thunder are set. They're
really
set up to
good.
be in a really good spot here to go to the NBA Finals.
I agree. All right, my first is going to be the Padres this weekend with men in scoring position. They had 0 hits. Now that was in 21 opportunities. So 0 for 21 with runners in scoring position versus Seattle this weekend. Is that good?
No, it's not good. Are you kidding me?
It's not great.
It's not great.
No.
Did you watch any hockey over the weekend, John?
Do you mean that Panthers Maple Leafs game?
The Maple Leafs. They are.
Did you call them Maple Leaves or Leafs?
Leafs. Maple Leafs?
Yeah, they're the Leafs.
What did I say? Maple Leafs?
Kind of.
I just talk kind of fast sometimes.
Don't they always lose game 7s? Isn't that what they're known for?
All the time.
How many?
All of them.
Really?
they just, for whatever reason, you think of I don't want to say the most cursed, not cursed, but just like teams that haven't won a championship in their respective sports. The Maple Leafs might be up there.
They have no titles?
Yeah.
I thought they were like historic, but that's more Montreal.
Historically bad.
Wow.
Well, anyway, game 7 on their home ice, they get blown out 6-1.
Once proud franchise.
For the Maple Leafs, Brent, is that good?
No, it's not good.
Is that right, too? Because it says here they have 13 championships.
Is that including cups? Or is it
I
before the
don't
cups?
know.
I don't know.
How does Toronto not have any titles?
Because it's Toronto and the Maple Leafs are.
Can someone tell me? There's no way Toronto hasn't won a Stanley Cup. It's Toronto. It's like saying the Yankees haven't won a Stanley Cup. Maybe.
No, it's not. No,
All
it's
right.
not.
Someone look that up. Brent's looking it up.
It's not.
My next one, Scotty Scheffler, 3-0 with a 54-hole lead at a major championship in his career. That's not easy. Hold on. Is that good? It is good for Scotty Scheffler. Brent's looking this thing up.
It is good.
Brent, what do you got?
They've won the Stanley Cup 13 times, but their most recent championship win, and I use recent in air quotes, was in 1967.
Yeah.
But 13 titles.
That's no.
Second all time, only
you.
behind the Canadians.
All right. What else do you have?
Well, I was going to say, did you see like the ad for Nike for Scotty Scheffler?
Guilty.
So good. Because he got
a year
arrested
ago-
last year at the PGA Championship.
Dude, Scotty Scheffler has turned into, this guy's unbelievable, right?
He's the best player in the world.
Well, he's turned into it though in a short period of time, hasn't he? Like 3 years ago, he hadn't won a major.
Now he has 3.
I know, that's pretty good.
It said best player in the world, ? Guilty.
Right.
Period. So freaking good. Caitlin Clark in her first game of the season this past weekend. No big deal. Triple-double. Brent, is that good?
It is good.
It's not just that. She is tied for the 3rd most triple doubles in the history of the WNBA. And she's been in the WNBA for 5 seconds.
She had 20 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. She should have had like 20 assists, but these women cannot make layups if their life depended on it. There were some passes that she made that were it's incredible passes, and then they would just smoke the layup. I'm like, this is really hard to watch. And watching as much of the game as I did, it is clear. Caitlin Clark is the best player in the NBA. It's not even close.
Okay, a couple of things.
Asia
First of
Wilson's
all-
really good. Kelsey Plum's really good. I think that's who it is, right? No,
She's really good. She's like one of the leading scorers all time in the league, isn't
right.
she?
But Caitlin Clark just is different.
Well, 3 triple doubles is tied for the 3rd most in the history of the league. And she has 3 triple doubles.
I know.
And that's tied for the 3rd most in the history of the league. I wanted to mention this because Nick Sirianni got an extension today. I think it's deserved. 48-20 is his record in 4 years with a Super Bowl title, with another Super Bowl appearance. His winning percentage is the 3rd highest in the history of the NFL at this point,
They're good.
or ever. Is that good?
It is good.
All right, we'll get to the wrap on the other side. Plus, be listening for that goal sounder call. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to qualify to win SDFC tickets against Austin FC on May 31st at Snapdragon Stadium. Hour 3, Jon and Jim next.
All right, this update is brought to you by Compassion International. Padres, they have an off day today before they start a 3-game series with the Toronto Blue Jays in Toronto tomorrow night. SDFC, they ended up having a scoreless draw against Sporting Kansas City this past weekend, picking up just a point at home. And the Eastern and Western Conference playoffs are set. It's going to be the Knicks and Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, and then T-Wolves and Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. Compassion sponsorship means food, healthcare, education, and more for a child in poverty. And there are thousands of kids who've been waiting over a year. And their wait. Sponsor a child with compassion today. Text the word radio to 83393.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim. And this hour, you do have a chance to qualify to win a pair of tickets to SDFC's match against Austin, May 31st. All right, this is going to be a match with a beach towel giveaway. When you hear a goal call from their play-by-play announcer, Adrian Garcia Marquez, all you need to do is call 877-767-4760 to be qualified to win a pair of tickets. We're qualifying someone every hour. Then after we qualify someone this hour and next, we'll announce the winner coming up around 5:30.
And actually, guys, because I feel generous today, I've been qualifying 2 people every hour. So
Wow. So continue to call then when you hear that goal sounder. 877-767-4760 for a chance to win those 2 free tickets. We have San Diego County Fair tickets to give away later this hour during Trainwreck Radio. So a lot going on here over the next couple of hours. Plus, if you missed Kevin Acee, you'll hear that coming up at 4:30. The Padres are off today.
That's good.
And we'll see you tomorrow. The Padres are off today. They are in Toronto. They'll open that series with the Blue Jays tomorrow afternoon. Game 1 of a 3-game series. Game 1 of a 6-game road trip.
From a 1 to 10.
10.
Yeah, you're right. 12.
What's the question? How important is the road trip? Or
No. Just what's your concern level from a 1 to 10? Because there are people out there
that are like a 10
that are close to a 10.
That's a really good question. I would probably push, like I think previously when you've asked me that question when they've struggled, I've been more in the 4 range. I'm probably willing to go to like the 5 range because I do think there's some things in there that have become a little obvious, like the bullpen came back to earth a little bit. Is the starting pitching going to continue to hold up if they don't get you Darvish? And the offense lacks slug. And you've illustrated the point. The bottom of their lineup isn't as good as the bottom of the lineup from a year ago. So I'm not concerned, but I'm also not like everything's perfect either at this point in the year. So I think I'm right in the middle. What about you?
Yeah, I would go in the middle as well. Like a 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not anywhere close to like alarm sounding where it's just bad, but they are, there's some trends that I just don't like. And the left field spot, it's not the reason why they got swept this series. It's not, but it's become a glaring weakness with this team, especially when I know Profar, his situation this year, I understand that. But last year, the production you got from your left fielder, you're not even sniffing.
Not even close.
That production this year at all.
Right.
And so it annoys me that they, in the offseason, literally did nothing to address left field. Like nothing. If they truly thought that Jason Hayward was going to be like a plug and play and he can give you something, they were so wrong. It's not even funny.
Did they do nothing, which they did, or did they do nothing because every dollar they spent was being counted and they only had so many dollars to spend? And therefore, if you're going to maximize dollars, they preferred a Pavetta path.
I get that.
Spend it on Profar, for example.
I get if their thinking was, all right, we have X amount of dollars, but we have multiple positions that we need to fill. What's the most important position? Pitching, okay. that's what we're going to spend our resources on, and we'll just deal with the left field spot later on in the season. Probably what happened.
Yeah, they were hoping for more, but hope's a tough strategy. That's my guess.
But also, I mean, I just don't like that.
Right.
I know it is what it is, and I understand that circumstances put you in positions that you don't have a choice. But that says more about how you got there and to get in that position than anything, which is you completely, didn't have the right amount of budget to plan for these things to happen. And when it did happen, when you have no left fielder, you were SOL.
Yeah, it's been a problem. I agree. I mean, some of those like savvy moves a year ago, the Peralta, Solano, Higgy moves haven't worked with Yuli Gurriel and Jason Hayward.
No.
Right? We asked them to, hey, I remember saying this in the offseason. Hey, can you hit on 100% like last year?
No,
and
close.
they haven't gotten close. I mean, and it's hard to hit on 100%. I do think AJ's come a little bit back to earth on some of those moves. They're hard to hit on. I do think the team has still played well as a whole, obviously, to our collective points. 27-18 is 27-18.
All right, let's do an exercise.
Okay, what do you want to do? Let's do push-ups.
No, you'd lose that.
Okay, let's do sit-ups.
No, it's like no.
Okay,
that's not the exercise I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm going to read off the new players that AJ Preller brought in this year.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to tell me hit or miss.
Okay, I like that.
All right. So we'll start. Elias Diaz.
I'd lean more hit than miss, but I mean, because the expectation, he has certainly reached expectation to the contract. I'm making this harder, but right. I mean, if you give a guy $1 million and he plays every day for a team that's 27-18, what would you say?
I would say miss.
Would you?
Yeah. You know why?
Why?
It's because you downgraded from what you got last year at the position.
But they knew that.
No, I know they did. But again, you got a guy that hit 18 home runs for you behind the plate, and your solution to replace him was Elias Diaz, and then my next candidate, Martin Maldonado, hit or miss.
Yeah, he's been a miss, I think, because he was sold on his defense, and I don't think his defense has been that spectacular.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's more of a miss. But by the way, like Diaz has hit 3 home runs, which is on this team a lot.
I know. Okay, Jose Iglesias, hit or miss.
What they give him, like $3 or $4 million? I mean, he's been hit-ish.
Just take out the money here for a second.
But you qualified me on Higgy with, hey, but he's not Higgy.
But I'm looking at the production you got last year to what you replaced them with this year. Guys, are they hit or miss?
That's a different question. Under that theory, it's miss. And then with Iglesias, it would probably...
Okay, fine. Then go back to what I was originally saying, I guess.
Well, what would you say on Iglesias? What is he hitting overall?
Miss.
Okay, miss. Hold on. Jose Iglesias is hitting 242, miss.
Gavin Sheets.
Hit.
Okay. Gavin Sheets has been really good for this team this year. All right. Jason Hayward.
Miss.
Okay. I guess, Brandon Lockridge and Tyler Wade were with the team last year, so they can't really say that about those guys.
Right. Pivetta.
Nick Pivetta.
Hit.
Absolutely.
What else?
That's it.
Is that it? So he's hit on half. The Pavettas.
Connor Joe.
Again, they're such flyers, it doesn't even matter. Oscar Gonzalez, minor league deal. Connor Joe, minor league deal, right? Mm-hmm. Was Connor Joe's deal minor league deal?
Yes.
Yeah, you missed on all the minor league deals. That's almost the point.
So of the players that AJ Preller brought in this offseason, 2 of them have hit.
Your 2 are Sheets and Pivetta.
Yes.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I agree. And last year he hit on more.
Last year it was Solano, Higgy, King, Peralta.
But King is so much tougher because King is part of a Juan Soto deal. Jason Hayward, some flyer rando deal.
Still, I would look at it all. Peralta. Or not Peralta,
yeah.
But I look at all the...
There's always some scrap heaping in there, yeah.
All the moves, they didn't go out and make a trade for a left fielder this offseason.
Right. No, you're right. I buy that.
So last year, yeah, you traded, King, Higgy, Peralta, Solano. You started Jackson Merrill I considered Jackson Merrill a guy that you could ask a hit or miss about for last year. the deadline, Adam, Estrada in the offseason, Tanner Scott, you name it. Dude hit on everything.
He did.
This year, and it just shows you how difficult it is to have that high percentage hit rate every single year with GMs, where one season, everything clicks for you. Every guy that you bring in produces and contributes. And then the next year, so far, different story.
But let me say this, and you're right. I completely agree by and large with everything you're saying, but hear me out. This year, they're better. You know what I mean? Like, just stop the season. The season's over. They're 27-18. That's the same winning percentage as last year. Just actually a little better.
You think they're better this year?
But it's not up to me to think. I'm just saying if they're 27-18.
I also think that's too early to say that.
That's probably true. I agree with that.
Because they could easily not sniff 93 wins.
True. Or they could win 111. Not really. Or they could win 94 is my point. You know, they could get to that number.
I think we can revisit that.
I agree.
When the season's over.
I can't wait to revisit. What do they call it? I'll do the autopsy on the moves. I'm with you. We'll have time.
Because I truly don't think that this team is better than last year's team.
If they are, it's going to be solely predicated to me on Pivetta being incredible all year long and this bullpen being incredible all year long.
They have elements that are better than last year's team. They have, I think, more depth in their starting rotation than last year's team. I think to start out, you've gotten more production from Manny and Fernando Tatis Jr. is healthy. So like that's a part of it that's better. But there are elements of the bullpen are better and also kind of equal to last year's team as well. But there are a lot of things from last year's team that this year's team, no.
Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, if you told me right now the Padres were heading into a postseason and would I expect this iteration of the Padres, which team had a higher ceiling? Last year's team entering the postseason, winners of whatever they were winners of, right? 43 of their last whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were 43-19 heading into the postseason. We felt like their ceiling was a World Series. If they were heading into the postseason tomorrow, would you feel as if their ceiling is winning the World Series?
No.
Not yet. I wouldn't, because I'd say the holes. We would immediately reference the holes. Now, there's a reason why there's a trade deadline. And there's a reason why it's over 162. So maybe they can improve this team between now and the start of the postseason. And hopefully they'll be in the postseason.
Yeah, this team is going to have to. This team has a lot of work to do before it gets to a place where I could say, yeah, they're better than last year's team.
Because the way last year finished was just historically good in the regular season. I mean, they were so fun to watch.
Yeah, covering this team for as long as I have, there's not one singular Padres team that I can remember that I felt more confident in to make a run to the World Series than last year's team.
Yeah, completely.
Now, it all just went to hell as soon as Joe got hurt and then Game 4 happened in Game 5. But even up until Game 4, I'm like, dude, I know they lost Joe, but
it felt like they might get it done.
It did.
There was that brief moment of time where they were like the World Series favorite.
And this team, while they have started out red hot, which has paid off for them so far, over the course of the year, the holes of a team, they show their head. It just, you can't hide something for 162. You can hide something for 30 games, 40 games maybe, but once you start getting around the 50 game mark, like 50, 60, I mean, you're going to know what the holes on your team are. And we know the holes on this team. They have many more holes on this team than they did last year.
To finish last year. No, I would agree with that. All right, we're going to get to the wrap on the other side. If you missed Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, an update on you, Darvish, you'll hear that coming up at 4:30. Be listening for that goal sounder. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for a chance to win a pair of tickets to see SDFC Austin FC on May 31st. This is Jon and Jim. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Kevin Acee at 4:30. Reminder that AM radio keeps vital voices accessible. Congress can secure its future, but we need your help. Text AM to 52886 now to support keeping AM radio in cars. Tell your member of Congress to pass legislation out. Keep AM radio in cars. Standard message and data rates apply. We didn't get to the wrap as of yet, so let's get to it right now.
Right now.
It's like the AC thing from earlier.
He's like, huh? What?
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Who's going to square off in the NBA Finals?
I'm gonna go what I think, and then I'm gonna go what I want.
No,
I'm changing it. I think it's gonna be Thunder Pacers. I want Wolves Knicks.
So you mentioned all four teams.
No.
You think? Say again.
I think it's going to be Thunder Pacers,
Okay,
which
you
is
want
going to be
Wolves
awful
Knicks.
for the NBA. I just, no.
Yeah, if the NBA doesn't have the Knicks, they have problems.
Yeah. And I want Knicks Timberwolves. I want Anthony Edwards in the finals. I want the Knicks in the finals. That's what I want.
I really want Thunder Pacers. Kristen is like a lifelong diehard Pacers fan.
Well, if it's going to
Doesn't
be
make a lot of
Pacers, then
sense.
at least be Pacers T-Wolves. I can't stand SGA. I'm sorry.
You can't deal with SGA?
No.
I kind of also I can't deal with the color blue they wear when they give away that t-shirt. That blue is so odd to me.
Their jerseys look like a created jerseys on NBA 2K.
Definitely. Thunder are going to the NBA Finals.
They are.
And are the Knicks the favorite with home court?
I would assume.
I would assume so too. I'll say Thunder Knicks. But I want Thunder Pacers
Would
to
be
your
bad,
point.
but I don't want Thunder Pacers.
Well, I want Pacers though.
I want Wolves Knicks just because it goes back to the Karl Anthony Towns trade from last
There's
offseason.
so many storylines there. Randall, Towns, DiVincenzo.
Oh, tune in, San Diego. That sounds thrilling. Next question.
Yeah, nobody cares here.
Right.
Except for Darren.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're a Knicks fan, you care. Next question.
I just want to go games. Is Scotty Scheffler the best golfer since Tiger Woods?
Well, he's won 3 majors. I mean, he plays kind of like he has that aura of him, kind of like Tiger did, where yesterday John Rahm just completely falls apart there trying to catch Scotty.
Yeah, they were tied, right? He was tied at one point.
And then he goes in the water twice. It's just, I think Scotty is the closest scare factor that we've gotten since Tiger, where he can put that fear into other golfers, knowing, oh, here comes Scotty, because he's just so solid, man. He can play bad and he'll still shoot 200 or 300 par. He's that good.
Yeah, I mean, 3 majors by the age of 28 is doing serious work. Obviously Rory is in this era. He kind of cooled off before winning the Masters earlier this year. I mean, he could make the case. I think in 2 years, if he's got another major or 2, if we look up, he's 30, and he's got either 4 or 5. I think a lot of people say this is the best golfer since Tiger Woods.
The one thing that Scotty doesn't do is you don't ever talk about choking and Scotty in the same sentence. The thing with Rory before the Masters win, which I mean that was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
An awesome moment. That was a big hurdle.
Yeah, because he has
mentally for him. Tiger never dealt with any mental. He was always the guy that everyone feared. I feel like Scotty might be the closest to that in that sense of people actually fear Scotty when they know he's around you on the leaderboard.
3-0 with a 54-hole lead in majors is very impressive, and that's what he is after yesterday. Next question.
Would you guys sign up for a 3-3 road trip for the Padres?
I mean, I guess after they're getting swept by the Mariners, 3-3, okay. And then you make hay at home against the Marlins and the Pirates.
Yeah.
Sure. I just want them to start playing better baseball. I want to see Jackson Merrill start to play better baseball. I want to see Manny Machado maybe hit, 1 or 2 home runs on this road trip. I want to see those things, and then the wins will come. But 3-3 right now, would I take it? I mean, if they win tomorrow night, then you're thinking to yourself, 4-2 road trips on the table. Let's go.
Yeah, it's hard because I'm with you on the Pirates and Marlins. I kind of want to say, can we look up after these next 12 games and can they go 8-4? That's a lot of work, even with the Pirates and Marlins in there. I think you got to look up after those 12 games and say they went 7-5 or better with what they have coming up in June. So, yeah, I think begrudgingly, I'd probably take a 3-3 road trip, and I'm hoping for more out of the Padres beginning tomorrow. Next question.
Should the NFL reseed the playoffs after the wild card round?
This is being discussed.
All right, so okay, I'm trying to think about
so one gets to buy 2, 7, 3, 6, 4, 5. If 7 beats 2, do you want 1 playing 7?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Because that's what 1 has earned.
Yes.
So why are we setting a bracket when you really don't need to do it? You just wait till the results of the wild card and then determine who everyone plays next.
It's the same thing in the NBA.
No, it's not. They set the bracket.
Well, they set a bracket, but I guess. But no, because if a 6 seed or a 7 seed wins, they play each other, and then the 1 plays a 4. That's what happened this year.
Whatever you're doing in your head is wrong. What are you doing in your head? So 1 plays 8. Winner of the series plays the 4-5 winner automatically.
Yeah, and then the 3-6 and 2-7, those winners play there. But
they don't reseed.
They don't reseed, which is what we're talking about the NFL.
We're talking about the NFL changing from not reseeding to reseeding.
Right, but I'm saying in the NBA, they do the same thing in the NFL where they don't reseed.
Correct.
It's a bracket.
Correct. NHL the same way. There is no reseeding.
Right.
Major League Baseball, there is no reseeding. Correct?
No.
So nobody's reseeding. Where do they reseed? Because now I'm thinking about, is there a reseeding? Am I missing something?
I don't know.
There's no reseeding in the NBA. Is there? They have a bracket.
They do. Where'd the music go?
So it's done.
Oh.
It's fine.
It's the last question.
Help us out in the chat. Are we that idiotic? They don't reseed in any of the 4 major sports in America. Is that correct? NFL currently does not reseed. Major League Baseball, MLB with the wild card, I don't even know, but they don't reseed. Right? 3-6 winner plays 2, 4-5 winner plays 1.
Yeah, they don't reseed.
NHL doesn't reseed.
I feel like
do they?
do
they?
I don't. Dude, I don't know, man.
Neither do I.
I got the foggy Monday blues.
Yeah, whatever. But how do I not know this? I mean, unless I'm missing something in the NBA and they reseed.
They don't reseed in the NBA.
Okay. All right. If you missed the conversation with Kevin Acee, we're going to share it with you on the other side. I'm all for reseeding, I think, in the NFL. I think it makes sense.
Jordan in the chat says, usually hair recedes.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That is a good point.
Yeah.
All right. If you missed our conversation with Kevin Acee, the update here on you, Darvish, and when we may see him next, you'll hear that on the other side. Be listening for that sounder. When you hear it, call 877-767-4760 for your chance to qualify to win SDFC tickets May 31st at Snapdragon Stadium. This is Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it's us again, Jon and Jim, for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place, and this Monday night, aka tonight, there's going to be a lucky winner driving home a brand new Ford Mustang Mach-E. That's every Monday this month. You can earn entries all month long just by playing, and on Tuesdays you can earn 2 times the entries.
And get ready to elevate your gaming experience with their brand new casino app. Get 200,000 bonus coins when you sign up and enjoy real rewards with every in-app purchase. Play online at playhamulcasino.com.
Also, remember to join the Jamul Casino Resort Players Club at Guest Services to receive your scratch-off game. Then scratch off and win. You could win up to $25,000. That's the new member Sweetwater scratch-offs. And again, it's all for you at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
All right, this update's brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres off day today for them. They start a 3-game series with the Toronto Raptors, the Toronto Blue Jays.
You've been doing that for like a month. Where you said the other city's team.
I don't know. The Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow night in Toronto. SDFC picked up a point over the weekend against Sporting Kansas City with a scoreless draw at home. In the Eastern and Western Conference finals are set in the NBA. Timberwolves and Thunder, their series tips off tomorrow in OKC. And then Wednesday, Pacers, Knicks, that series tips off game 1 at 5 p.m. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions do apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends June 14th. Plus save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
Vince Carter on the mound tomorrow night for the Blue Jays in Toronto. It's going to be compelling.
They're going to bring back Kawhi.
Yeah, Kawhi. And that lineup, man, that's a fierce lineup. Kyle Lowry's in there. He's going to bat fourth.
Fred
Tracy
Van
McGrady's
Vliet
pitching game 4.
Going to be
Even though Fred Van Vliet's on the
but we're bringing
Rockets.
it's the all-time. It's the all-time Raptor team against the Padres.
Tracy McGrady coming back for a special one-time appearance tomorrow.
If you missed our conversation with Kevin Acee, speaking of Toronto, we started our conversation earlier asking for an update on Darvish.
You know, this is, as I've been saying all along, is being left largely up to Darvish. Obviously, everyone is involved: athletic trainers, physical therapists, AJ Preller, Ruben Niebla, Mike Shildt. But this is a guy who's been pitching for 20 years and has had a lot of maladies. Is now 38, and they're leaving it up to him, and he's got to feel ready. I think that they're all learning how to. They said before the start of the season that they were going to try to save bullets so that Darvish is ready at the end of the season. So they're not necessarily in a big hurry here. I don't think that anyone, including you, based on this is my talking with people, thinks he needs another rehab start. But it's about when Darvish feels comfortable pitching again. And so, he hasn't even done a bullpen yet. He's played catch. And we'll see here. We'll see. My understanding is could be Atlanta. Could be, the Marlins, the next one. Could be Pittsburgh. And that could well come without another rehab start. It's a matter of when Darvish is ready to pitch.
Kevin, one of the players on the team right now that's in a funk and going through it is Jackson Merrill. We were talking about,
from my understanding, but anyway, let's go on.
Oh, we might have had you might have cut out.
Well, did you? Oh, it's my fault. Oh, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
It's completely Jim's fault.
It's my fault. Yes, it's 100% my fault. Yes, I take the blame.
I'm sorry to have been so blunt, but I feel like you needed to hear it from someone new.
Yes. I've been hearing it from.
So how did this happen? Because Jim put on social media like he's the best center fielder in baseball. If you disagree, go argue with a wall. Since then, Pete Crow Armstrong has run circles around Jackson Merrill.
Yeah.
Jim gets tagged in everything.
Yeah.
And Jim takes some blame.
Well, and
I know you've been through this before, but what I want to say is welcome, brother, to my world. The dangers of talking about and writing about baseball is just how quickly things change.
Yep, exactly. I will.
And then they change back.
Yeah, and everything. Exactly.
You'll be fine.
I can take it, Kevin. You can take it. We can all take it.
And Jackson will come through for you pretty soon.
Yeah. Please, Jackson, please. You need to help me out, buddy. But we were talking about last Monday night, where he has an amazing game. And after the game, I love the attitude from him, but he's just I don't care about what I did. We lost the game. I'm pissed off. And we know how much he cares. It does feel like, and tell me if you agree, if you've seen this, he's trying maybe a little too hard this week. It just feels like there's some at-bats where he's swinging at pitches that he doesn't normally swing at, and he's getting very frustrated with himself. It just feels like he's almost trying a little too hard.
I think that's probably fair to say. I am always reluctant just to extrapolate that because things can look a certain way, but I think you're probably right. I mean, that is often the case, or it's at least part of the case, right? Yeah. Heck, it's part of the case from my understanding when Manny Machado starts to chase, when Fernando Tatis Jr. starts to chase, when they don't look, quote unquote, like themselves. So I think it's fair for you to say, but like, you know, he also is in a slump, right? Like, I mean, it's a 5-game slump and he's in a slump. And, you know, he's now, one of the things that stuck out to me yesterday is he walked and took a called third strike, which he doesn't do. So he's clearly trying to do something different. And so I think that's another thing that could support your contention there.
Yeah, and again, we looked a year ago when he did quote unquote slump. It was for such a small sample size, which this is, by the way, as well to your point. So hopefully he bounces out of it soon for Padres fans and for himself. Kevin Acee is with us right now from Toronto. Obviously, we've detailed the issues that they've had in left field. No team's perfect. Oftentimes, teams need to be upgraded along the way. Is this a situation where you feel as if they're going to try to make some type of external change before at the deadline? Everything's on the table. I mean, that's 2 months from now, but could they need to make some type of change well before the deadline? Is that a possibility or not?
Yeah, it is. And could be increasingly like every day, right? I'm not saying they're done with the Gavin Sheets experiment. He had a bad play yesterday, right? And if he keeps hitting, you can put up with that. Now, then what do you do at DH every day, right? So there's a hole and they'll fill it. So yeah, you know, Dennis reported and we've confirmed since that Oscar Gonzalez is no longer an option because he'll be signing with the Japanese team. And, you know, that's something that, look, I don't know that Oscar was going to be the solution anyway. I felt like he needed a little more time because of the promise he had, but I don't feel like the Padres were like, oh yeah, we still have Oscar Gonzalez, because then he would have been up here anyway. So like, you know, yeah, I don't know who it is. That part of the answer I don't have for you, but yes, they cannot keep going with a guy who is rolling over on 3/4 of his you know, outs. And they knew that was a possibility. This is something they were talking about in spring training. You know, Jason Hayward, hope that works out, but you know, it was $1 million and we'll see.
Well, they're not going to alibi it, Kevin. That's for sure. Manny Machado, he had I think he was 0 in this series against the Mariners. Yep. Isn't it crazy how, you know, this shouldn't be the case in baseball, but it is. Like, when he goes, the team goes, and he might be the only player in baseball that you could say that about.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what? That is true of, I'm agreeing with you, but I'm going to say, like, people argue with me, and it's true. Like, that's true of stars. That's why you have them, of most stars, right? But it's not as true. And you go ahead and pick something. Pick like this series where Manny goes hitless and lo and behold, the Padres get swept. Series where, or months where Manny is hot and the Padres, you know, go 16-10, or whatever. How about last year when, what were they, 37-1 when he had multiple RBIs? And I did the research and there wasn't anyone close to that. So yes, as Manny goes, the team goes. I don't know it's as much this year, but yes. I mean, first off, he's Manny. Second, he's in the 3-hole. So look, Manny Machado and Jackson Merrill were, quick math, was it 1 for 23 with 2 walks or something? Yeah, I think you might get swept every time if that happens.
Yeah, it's certainly not a good formula to win baseball games, as we saw this past weekend. You've written about this, Kevin. I mean, obviously the start was terrific. 14-3 is as good as any team can start, essentially, in baseball. But they've really come back to earth at 13-15 over their last 28 games. What's the primary culprit there? Has it been, you know, a year ago, their offense was really, really consistent. Move the line. I feel like we've seen less of move the line. We haven't seen the true power and slug that we were hoping to see. How would you explain their 13-15 run over the last month?
Well, yeah, that is true. And I'll start with injuries. Just like, okay, the number of guys key guys that you can include Jay Cronenworth in there because he's been moving the line. So as long as he's doing that, you have to say him being out was a huge deal.
Sure.
Jackson Merrill, huge deal, right? Because he was out during that stretch where he could almost not hit a ball 100 miles an hour and find a hole. So that's huge. The bullpen, right? Rough stretch during this time.
Yep.
And Jason Hayward. So there you go, right? Like that'll stop you from moving the line. So you had Jason Hayward and you didn't have Jay Cronenworth and Jackson Merrill. That's huge. Now you could talk about how, I don't know, whatever. Not the same team as last year, not as lucky. I don't know, but I'm going to go ahead and say you had Jason Hayward, who has been a void, and you did not have two really big guys. And so all of these things are valid in terms of run production, problem, home runs, problem, but I'll wait and see a little while longer when they have the full team together.
Would you consider this road trip kind of like a sneaky tough road trip for the Padres?
Oh, good one. Yeah, sure. Blue Jays always tough, right? And Braves getting better. They absolutely, they ambushed the Braves, right? Like the Braves were not the Braves. So fortunately for them, because the Padres are playing themselves into a wild card here. I'm joking. It's early. But they already have the tiebreaker over the Braves, no matter what happens in Atlanta this year. So that's good. But yes, I would consider this a sneaky, difficult road trip. And if you can go 4-2, obviously nothing's guaranteed, but you go home and face the Pirates and the Marlins. So this could be big, because then at the end of that comes Giants, Brewers, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Dodgers. Like it gets, I think then Phillies or I don't know. It's a rough June.
It really is. Kevin, before you go, how mad is everyone about the Maple Leafs in Toronto?
I heard some comments today. It's also like a holiday today. This is like their Memorial Day or something, or so like Victoria Day. I'm sorry, guys, I don't know what it is, but it's a holiday, so it's like dead here. But yeah, I think there were some people staying at my hotel. They were pretty upset about it. But yeah, I don't even know. I don't know.
Well, my last question was, how upset is everybody about the loss potentially of the Vetter Cup?
Ooh, well, I don't even see how. I mean, first off, you got to make up. Not only do you have to beat them all three, that run differential, we're not even going to get that exit velocity, right?
We probably won't.
The run differential was pretty bad. I mean, you guys really blew it with one run per game if you want to get that whatever special guitar thing. So I'd say look forward to 2026.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you sound like Jon and Jim.
Yeah,
you sound like us.
Just move on to next year. It's fine.
Kevin, enjoy Toronto. We'll catch up with you later in the week, and thanks for hopping on.
Right on, guys. See you.
All right, so call right now, Jim, if you want. Well, you don't have to call, but call right now if you want a free 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. Amazing giveaway as Trainwreck Radio Trivia returns. All you need to do is call 877-767-4760. Call right now. We have a 4-pack of free tickets to the San Diego County Fair at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. First 2 callers will be contestants. We'll play some trivia. Call right now, 877-767-4760. A free 4-pack of tickets to the fair, 877-767-4760. Call now. That's next. All right. Who wants to play Rudy in trivia for a chance to win 4 free tickets to the San Diego County Fair back at the Del Mar Fairgrounds, June 11th through July 6th? So call 877-767-4760 if you want a free 4-pack of tickets. A free 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair, Del Mar Fairgrounds, 877-767-4760. Call right now. And the first caller that calls right now will play Rudy for a chance to win those 4 tickets to the San Diego County Fair. Again, 877-767-4760. Pick up your phone and call right now.
I'm mad at you.
Yeah, well, we'll discuss that. We can discuss it right now if you want. I know what you're going to say. I already know what you're going to say, and I agree with you. All right, go with it.
Bro,
we both have problems right now.
Bro, you're going to make me do something I don't want to do. And that is start buying cards.
Yes, thank you. One of us. Listen, here's the deal. Neither me and you, like, you don't have a ton of like extra income, right? You're going on a honeymoon. You just had a wedding.
No, nothing.
Right? You're not sitting here just, free spending left and right in San Diego. But what
I'm making my sandwiches myself at home.
But what I like is you don't have any money, but now you're getting into the card hobby game and you're trying to buy things without the money to pay for them.
I'm like, $130 is not that bad.
Like $130 for a Pokemon 98.
Like,
do they even exist then?
Yeah, it's not that bad.
So I've been obsessed with cards for like 10 days. Like previously, I never even talked about it.
I'm shocked it's gone this long.
I am too. I don't know when it's going to end. Maybe Pac-12 realignment. Maybe
something's going to happen that's major for you to stop your obsession with cards. It's kind of gotten over.
Aztec football. I've spent a little bit of money last week or two.
You are.
I haven't disclosed it all.
Every time that we come in before the show, you're watching a card video now.
Correct.
Or you are on eBay looking at rookie
like Ethan Salas cards.
Yeah, it's got to a point where it's not just a fad; it's now become a part of you. Like
you have Charizard cards or Charizard cards.
Charizard cards.
I mean,
well, here's what you have done to me.
Mm-hmm.
I am giving you some of my cards to hand in to PSA this weekend to get graded.
Yeah.
Like that's where we're at now. I'm like, I was yesterday cleaning the backyard because we're leaving next week. And
did you find some cards in the backyard?
No, during our spring cleaning, I went into like our storage shed to find all of my cards. And Aaron was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Looking for my Pokemon cards."
She goes, like, "Oh no."
She's like, "What?"
It might pay for the honeymoon. If you get it graded like a 10.
It's not going to get graded a 10.
Honey, why are you Googling divorce lawyers?
Yeah.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with spending a few dollars or a few $100,000 on cards. There's nothing wrong with that. Could be way worse. You could be doing way worse things.
Yeah, like drugs and
exactly.
That'd be a problem.
Right. So just collect cards.
Right.
Yeah, man.
I think drugs might be cheaper.
Probably.
Honestly, it probably is. Yeah. Let's get to it.
All right, 3 questions, 2 contestants, 1 lifeline. Today's 2 contestants, we have Rudy and we have Dez. Rudy, you called in first. So you have your choice of Jon or Jim. Who do you want to go with?
I'll go with Jon.
All right, Rudy and Jon.
Rudy and Jon. Dez, you get Jim, okay?
Perfect.
All right, Brent, what's the question of the day?
All right, guys, the Padres open a 3-game set in Toronto tomorrow. Today's question, can you name the top 10 home run hitters in Blue Jays franchise history? So we're looking for the top 10 Blue Jays with the most home runs in franchise history.
Wow.
All right. Dez, you are up first. What is your first guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Vladimir Guerrero Sr.
Vladimir Guerrero Sr.
Vlad. Okay.
Vlad. Wait. Senior?
Vlad
Senior? He said.
Oh, no, Junior. Sorry, Junior. Not Junior. Sorry.
Junior. Okay. We're going to give that to him? Yeah, I get it. I know.
Yeah, okay. I got you. Yeah.
Rudy, you're up next. What's your first guess, Rudy? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
I don't know the Toronto Blue Jays.
You have a lifeline if you want to use it, Rudy.
Give me one.
How could you? Okay, you want a lifeline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably our only listener that doesn't know Blue Jays history. I'm kidding. Nobody knows Blue Jays history. I'll give you one. You may have heard that I used to work in the minor leagues, and my first year in the minor leagues with my team was Jose Bautista, who was then Rule 5'd to the Blue Jays, and he's got to be
great. No one cares.
He's got to be one of the
Jose Bautista. I'm just kidding.
Jose Bautista.
Okay, I'll take it.
All right, there
All
you
right.
go. Dez, you're up next. What is your second guess? You do have a lifeline if you want to use it.
Lifeline.
I'm gonna go with Carlos Delgado. Do you take that?
I will take it.
Wow.
Boom, baby. All right, Rudy, this is all up to you. You don't have a lifeline, so what is your next guess?
I don't even have a guess.
No guess. Nothing.
No guess.
All right.
Okay, no
I
guess.
don't name a Canadian already.
What?
All right. So but that means this is over, right?
Yeah, I'm out.
You're throwing up the white flag there, Rudy?
But you can't do it if you don't know. It's okay.
Okay.
It's over.
It's over. All right.
If you don't know any Blue Jays, you're not going to win.
I couldn't understand what he was saying because everyone talked at once. So
No, you were talking.
I wasn't talking.
Yes, you were. All right. So what do we got? Who's on this list?
Dez is the winner.
Dez is the winner.
All right. Delgado is number 1. Batista is number 2. Edwin Encarnacion is 3.
Encarnacion.
I know I say that wrong. Vernon Wells is 4. Joe Carter.
Oh, yeah. Joe
World
Carter.
Series. He's number 5. George Bell is 6. Jesse Barfield is 7. Vlad was 8. Lloyd Mosby is number 9, and Adam Lind is number 10.
It's actually not a bad list at all. All right. So congratulations. You've won a 4-pack of tickets to the San Diego County Fair. This is at the Del Mar Fairgrounds. And this is June 11th through July 6th. The Del Mar Fairgrounds will transform to a pet lover's paradise. Our community's fair, the biggest bash of the summer in San Diego, and the best deal in town will celebrate these special bonds between humans and their pets this year. How about that? So that's what's going on. Tickets and info at sdfair.com. That's sdfair.com. We'll have a chance to win a 4-pack of tickets throughout the course of the week here on Jon and Jim. Now, remember, in the 5 o'clock hour, we're qualifying another listener for a pair of tickets to see SDFC against Austin FC May 31st. When you hear the goal sounder, call 877-767-4760. We'll qualify someone in the 5 o'clock hour, and then we'll announce a winner coming up at 5:30. That's 2 free tickets for SDFC and Austin FC on May 31st. We'll kick off hour 4 of Jon and Jim. Getting you ready for that Padres series that is coming up. We'll hear from Mike Shildt again as well. We're here until 6 p.m. This is Jon and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by Temecula Valley Balloon and Wine Music Festival. Padres, they have an off day today. They start a 3-game series with the Blue Jays tomorrow in Toronto. Moving over to the NBA postseason, Eastern and Western Conference Finals are set. It'll be the Knicks and Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals and the Timberwolves and Thunder in the Western Conference Finals. And SDFC picked up a point over the weekend against Sporting Kansas City in a scoreless draw Saturday night. Temecula Valley Balloon and Wine Music Festival is happening June 20th through the 22nd, featuring Walker Hayes, Cody Jinks, Alabama, and more. Tickets are available now at TemeculaValleyFestival.com, powering the best events from start to finish, events.com.
It's Jon and Jim to warm up that drive home.
It's chaos in the studio right now. When we have to do the switchover between shows, there's not a lot of time.
Need more time.
There's not a lot of time to get things set up and get our stuff plugged in and get ready to go.
When Flex Zone comes in to do the show, do they race in and set up their computers?
No, they have an hour to get everything ready to go. We have 4 minutes.
I need an agent other than you.
Me?
We need agents. I don't think it'll do anything, but
It would do nothing.
I don't think it'll do anything.
Now, time for Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego, Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim. Your last chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC Austin FC. This is May 31st. California Bank and Trust is giving away tickets to the May 31st SDFC summer kickoff match against Austin, featuring a beach towel giveaway. So when you hear the Adrian Garcia Marquez, the play-by-play voice, say goal, essentially, you're going to call 877-767-4760, and you're going to qualify to win. Once we have all the qualifiers, at 5:30, we'll announce the winner from the qualifiers. So be listening for your chance to qualify, and then among the qualifiers, we will pick a winner coming up at 5:30. But jot down the number, 877-767-4760 for those.
Okay.
All right, so we have those tickets. SDFC is home this weekend.
They are against a winless LA Galaxy.
And then again home next weekend against Austin FC. We've been talking about the Padres obviously here today. Off today. They've traveled to Toronto. They'll open a series tomorrow afternoon with the Blue Jays. It was a no good, very bad, terrible weekend for the Padres. They scored 3 runs. They were 0 for 21 with men in scoring position. They were beaten soundly in most facets by the Mariners. We'll hear from Mike Shildt coming up in a moment. Hopefully they put it behind them. This happened 2 weeks ago. They had an off day. They got a little healthier. They won 6 straight off that home sweep at the hands of Tampa Bay. Now they're going to Toronto and Atlanta. You mentioned this with Kevin just a few minutes ago. Sneaky tough is what I would call this road trip. Toronto and Atlanta coming up.
Sneaky tough, but also when you get home, sneaky easy. Because you're playing Pittsburgh. Now, I don't know if Skeens is going to be pitching in that series. I haven't looked at.
Where's Darnay? He wants to pitch all 3 games. Don't want to miss Skeens, right?
Yeah, got to have Skeens
Got to
pitch.
see him.
When would he pitch?
You want to do the math on that?
Yeah, I'm going to do the math right now.
All right. You tell me the last time he pitched, and then we'll look at the Padres.
I want to say he pitched
the Pirates schedule.
Was it yesterday? Yeah.
Oh, they celebrated him like a complete game, the first of his career. It was in a loss. He went 8 innings on the road.
He's 3-5 with a 2.44 ERA this year. Scrub.
Pretty good ERA.
Now, again, he's on one of the worst teams in baseball. How is Paul Skeens going to last his entire, time there with the Pirates?
He won't.
He's going to get traded.
So he pitched the 18th, Jim?
He
yesterday?
He pitched yesterday.
All right. So if he stays on normal rest, he'd pitch the 23rd against Milwaukee. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. He'd pitch at Arizona on the 28th.
Are they going to miss him again?
I think they'll miss him. They would miss him if he pitched on normal rest.
So this team is yet to face Paul Skeens
in 2 years.
Yeah.
And if he stays on normal rest, and he might not, because they might give him an extra day somewhere.
Yeah.
I think they would miss him if he stays on normal rest.
They're ducking him.
Somewhere Darnay is throwing things.
He's like, no, I can't believe Paul Skeens isn't pitching as the Padres.
There's no reason to go anymore.
I don't care.
I'd rather see Skeens beat the Padres than the Padres beat some scrub.
Yeah, wham. What's the Padres to face the best competition?
That's my argument against it. Like, would you rather see Skeens beat the Padres or Bob Wafer.
Bob Wafer?
It was like a play on John Schaefer. I was just trying to think of a name. Or would you rather see some rando?
Bob
Let's
Wafer.
say Bob Wafer gets called up and they shell him. 11
Vanilla
runs in
Wafer.
2 2/3 innings.
Your nickname should be Vanilla Wafer.
It really should.
Vanilla Schaefer.
Oh yeah. Ice.
Yeah.
You get my point. Do you want to see Skeens shove or you want to see someone else not shove? But John, this lineup, what an honor it would be to face him and beat him up.
An honor.
I just don't
What
get
an
it.
honor it
It's
would
like,
be.
if you make, here's another one
So
for you.
stupid.
Here's another one for you. Do you want to make the World Series but not face the Dodgers?
No, I want them to make the World Series. I don't care.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care if they make the World Series and the Dodgers get like upended by the Braves.
Do you think Timberwolves fans are like, man, I'm glad we won that series and we're going to the Western Conference Finals, but you know what? It didn't feel the same because we didn't face Steph.
Right. Nobody looks at, like, I'm not going to look at any Warriors title and be like, well, the one thing about that Warriors title is they didn't face the 2 seed.
A lot of people are like, well, Kawhi got hurt in that series against the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. Okay.
Oh, Kawhi got hurt one, but Kawhi also beat them once when they got hurt.
Yeah. So it evened out. So there you go.
So my point is, I'm not worried about when you're seeking the first World Series in franchise history. Let's worry less about Paul Skeens and more about the Padres.
You play who's in front of you, regardless of injuries. Who cares?
Right.
It happens. It's a thing that the other team will use as an excuse, which is a valid one. But at the same time, if you're, the Padres or, the Timberwolves, like, who cares?
Yeah, I don't think there's an asterisk on the Dodgers World Series trophy that says Joe Musgrove had Tommy John.
Right.
Like, if Joe Musgrove would have pitched, well, that's just how sports work.
Yeah.
And we're seeing it right now, by the way, like you just mentioned with previous NBA postseasons, we're seeing it throughout the NBA playoffs. You're seeing huge star Hall of Fame caliber, one of one, Steph Curry, LeBron James, and others miss time, which is then impacting their ability to win in the postseason. But guess what? Nobody cares. Yeah, but nobody cares.
Yeah. So nobody cares if Paul Skeens misses the Padres. I'd rather have them face Bob Wafer with a 6 ERA than Paul Skeens. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if Bob Wafer is even in the rotation anymore.
Is there a single person named on this planet that's named Bob Wafer?
Probably. The answer is yes.
How would you spell Wafer? Just WAFER?
Yeah, I'm not going to go with the alternate spelling for Bob Wafer.
There you go. Bob Wafer's address and phone number.
So he exists. He's probably a Pirate fan.
Hold on.
Bob Wafer.
There's
some Robert Wafers.
There's a Robert Wafer that lives in Chula Vista.
There. Exactly. There's 7 on LinkedIn, Jim.
There's a Robert Lee Wafer that lives in Atlanta. A Robert Wafer that lives in New York.
There's Bob Waferling.
There's a Robert Wafer that lives in Oklahoma City.
And there's one that's in the Pirates rotation.
There's one in Texas. There's a 30-year-old in Orlando Beach, Florida, Robert Wafer Jr. So there is actually a Bob Wafer out there in this world.
Dude, there's 8 billion people on the planet. There's someone named Jimmy Skimmy. Right? There's someone named Jimmy Skimmy.
Jimmy Skimmy.
Or Jim Skimmy.
Hold on, Jimmy Skimmy.
Right? Or James Skimmy. I guarantee there's a James Skimmy in the world.
I typed in Jimmy Skimmy and it shows Jimmy Kimmel.
But you get my point. Don't look it up.
No, hold on.
It's a failed exercise.
No, it's not. I'm trying to prove that you're right. All right, Yellow Pages. Jimmy Skimmy. Let's see here. Jimmy, last name Skimmy.
Anyway, this is if anyone who was listening, they're now no longer listening.
I'm trying to, I'm gonna find a Jimmy Skimmy in this world.
They probably exist, but that's my point. Anyway, back to the point of the road trip. The Padres just got swept at home. They're going to the road. The last time this happened 2 weeks ago, they got swept at home. They went to the road. They played well. Hopefully they're able to do that coming up. Will it be easy? Probably not with Toronto and Atlanta, but then they get home and hopefully can take advantage of what's in front of them. And they may, in fact, the point is they may, in fact, miss Paul Skeens. If they do, great. If they happen to face him, it's not the end of the world. Hopefully they can still have success. But I'm not going to lose sleep if they don't face Paul Skeens is the point. And you couldn't find a Jimmy Skimmy? Or you found one?
I found a Rick Skimmy
Okay.
72 years old in Myrtle Beach. Actually, his full name is Horn Rick Skimmy.
There's only one
all
in
I
the whole
got.
country. Okay.
That's all I got.
With the last name of Skimmy.
Yes.
All right.
Anyway.
Do we want to hear from Shildt? Let's hear from Mike Shildt. This was after the sweep yesterday. They lose at home. They score 1 run in all 3 games. This is Mike Shildt postgame.
Do you attribute kind of what happened or didn't happen offensively this weekend to their pitching staff clearly very good, and a couple of your big guys kind of not having the series they would maybe normally have?
2 good teams just went at each other. They threw the ball exceptionally well. They pitch well. Historically, they pitch well. They're doing it. I don't know about the entire season. Obviously, we prepped before it, and we saw it firsthand. The starting pitching was really good. Wu was really good today. All 3 of their starters were really good. A lot of different pitches located, changed speeds, had a clear plan, executed their pitches. Bullpen was really good. They've got different looks down there. Again, outside of a few innings, they pounded the strike zone, and I think that's a really big part of it. It's 2 good teams win each other, and we talk about they just got us in a couple areas that typically we get other people in. We were together. We were fighting our tails off. Preparation was good. Effort level was good. They just they threw more quality strikes than we did. Both teams played pretty clean defensively, and they were able to execute a little more consistently on offense. And like I said, some combination ace of their ability to make pitches in big spots. But that being said, we do have higher expectations with when we get opportunities to deliver more than we did this series, and we will, and we have, and we will, and but tip of the hat, and we'll figure out how to get back on it.
So those opportunities, do you just kind of chalk up like that as being part of baseball? Is there anything that needs to change in those runners?
No, I mean, listen, this is one of those things where, the game tests you. It actually is paints even clearer a picture of when we're going well, which is a lot of the time what we do to help us win baseball games. And we've done that a lot, and we're going to do it again. It also proves conversely when you get into, face a club that's well-rounded in a lot of different areas like that club is. That's a good team over there. They played really well. They played good baseball the whole weekend. But that's what, series are, figuring out the nuances of those series and where those edges are. And, we've won a lot of series. We're going to continue to win series, but just crystallizes like, you got to throw strikes, you got to execute with quality strikes. And when you get your opportunities against, especially, teams that have more consistent pitching, and way easier said than done. I'm not sitting here saying it's easy. But we can't alibi it either. We got to figure out a way to continue to take those good at bats. And sometimes, we still do that, and you don't get rewarded. And a couple of times that happened in the series too. So it's a combination of things. But there's no concern on my part at all. We'll just get back to playing our game. We know what that looks like, and we'll be ready on Tuesday.
Can I just say something?
Do it.
Mike Shildt has, it's going to sound really awkward.
We've said this before.
Mike Shildt has a very wet mouth.
It's a lot of. It is
very like nails on a chalkboard. Like
it's uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable to listen to. Like his mouth when he's talking, it's like, dude, drink some water, bro.
Yeah, I would.
What are we doing?
I would prefer. I feel like that would be a very good sponsor to have like a water branded water next to him.
It is so wet. It's such a wet mouth. It's like
it's so wet. Maybe it doesn't need water. Maybe it's the opposite of water.
Like I guess
Brent might have it.
When he swallows, it's
okay.
It's just
phrasing.
It's just it's cringeworthy. It makes my skin crawl, and I get the heebie-jeebies when is that even a thing?
Yeah.
When I hear Mike Shildt speak, because he has such a wet mouth, dude. It's so wet. It's like nom, 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 nom. I can't even do it properly because it just, I don't know, man.
Stop. All right. Be listening for a chance to win those SDFC tickets.
Like, am I wrong?
No, you're right. You're spot on. Does
anybody else get like creeped out by listening to Mike Shildt speak because his mouth is so wet?
Tag at Jim Russell SD if you feel the same way. or at Jon and Jim, or text us 70470. Start it with team.
Like, drink some water, dude. I understand you might have a dry mouth, so you're trying to make it wet by smacking those lips together.
Call 877-767-4760 when you hear the SDFC goal call for a chance to qualify to win 2 free tickets to see SDFC May 31st. There's something in the NBA postseason that's going to happen for the first time in the history of the league. We'll share it with you next. That's Jon and Jim.
Chucky Irving, Chucky Lozano, wait, Chuk, boom!
All right, I forgot that we have Colin Cowherd. Well, I didn't forget that he's on the station.
You didn't have to say that.
What do you mean?
That we forgot.
Oh, I thought I mentioned it earlier. Maybe I didn't. I thought I mentioned it earlier.
You mentioned that we had it. We just haven't played it yet.
All right. Yeah, you're right. I didn't have to mention we forgot it.
Yeah.
Great. By the way, Wednesday at 6 on San Diego Sports 760. It's SDFC Midweek Live. You're going to hear from the head coach, Mikey Varas, as well as interviews with players and coaches. Find out the latest club information hosted by Darren Smith, SDFC Midweek Live, every Wednesday at 6 on your home for SDFC, San Diego Sports 760. So we'll hear from Colin Cowherd on the Purdy deal in a moment, but let me share this with you because I screen grabbed this tweet. And it says, amazing start for, no, not that one. Hold on. A 7th franchise in 7 years will win the NBA title. That is the first time in the history of the NBA. That's because obviously Thunder, T-Wolves, T-Wolves, Knicks, or Pacers haven't won it in the last 6 years. In fact, 3 of those teams have never won, although that's kind of misleading because the Thunder used to be Seattle, and Seattle has won. And the Knicks have won in the 70s. But this is the longest run of different champions in the history of the NBA. And in those 7 years, there have been 14 teams to play, right, in conference finals. They've had 11 different teams in conference finals in the last 7 years.
It's just very difficult to go back to back.
Right.
And with the salary cap restrictions and like the aprons and, you only have a finite amount of time to get it done. Like this was the last year for the Celtics to get it done with this group of players because it is going to be completely different next year. They're not going to have a $500 million roster. It's just not. When the Warriors won their back-to-back titles, the last team to do it, they were in such a luxurious position because Steph Curry was still on his like $44 million, $11 million a year deal. And that was when they picked up Kevin Durant. And then once Steph Curry got his next contract, it's much harder to keep all those players together and to keep like not only just the superstar players, but the role players, which are very important to a team, to keep them all together. They could not have done it without Steph's, contract that he got because he turned his ankle so many times. They didn't give him a big contract.
Right.
He signed, I think it was like a 4-year, $44 million deal.
That's amazing. Now guys are making like $70 million a year.
It was like, what?
All right. Well, let me ask you this, though. Your point is valid. I buy it. Oklahoma City is now the favorite, right? They're minus 180. The Knicks are plus 475. So like Oklahoma City is the sizable, significant favorite, right? We all agree?
Mm-hmm.
If Oklahoma City wins it, how surprised would you be if they got back to another finals or won another finals next year? If they won it this year?
Well, I would have to look at like contracts of guys like
So like SGA and Chet are young.
They are, but you need more than just that.
No, I agree.
What's the deal with Alex Caruso? What's the deal with Jalen Williams? What's the deal with Hartenstein? Like I got to know those guys' contract as well because everyone's going to want to get paid.
Yep, that's fair.
And so this is a perfect time for the Thunder to,
win one
because then I think they would have a really good shot next year to win one as well because I don't think that all those guys are going to be due for a big payday. T-Wolves, I don't know the contracts or whatever, but yeah, you look at the parity in the league and a lot has to do with look at the contracts of certain guys. And if they aren't, getting those max deals, they're going to get a max deal. But as of right now, it helps with the
helps to win in the now until they get the huge deal. What do you got, Brent?
I'm looking at OKC's contracts right now. Nobody they really have to worry about at the end of this season, but next season, Chet Holmgren's contract expires. Shea's is up in 2 years, but it looks like he has either a player or a team option for the third. And Caruso's signed for till the 28-29 season, so he's good. So yeah, pretty much.
What about Jalen Williams? He's a guy that has been like the third.
He's the same with Chet Holmgren. His deal's up next year.
All right, so this is the time for the Thunder to do it. Jalen and Chet are going to get huge contracts. Oh, and by the way, Shea, who's going to win the MVP this year, he's going to get the max deal as well. So, like, this is the time for the Thunder to win it with this team, how deep they are. Because if they don't win it now, it's just going to get infinitely tougher to do it because of these guys' contracts that they're going to get in just a year.
And man, they're so desperate. And I get it. Like that team has been supported since they got there, right? You could argue the merits of how they got there, but it wasn't the fans' fault. I mean, they've had teams that have made runs. They went to the one finals run when KD was young, right? When they had the big three.
Yeah, they had KD and Harden and
West.
Russ.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've kind of been waiting for this moment. How long have they even been there now? Has it been 20 years? 2008. So you're pushing 20 years, and maybe they finally break through. It seems if they don't win it, that to me is surprising. I'm not going to call it like an all-timer, because who knows? It's a 7-game series. So to me, it seems like Oklahoma City is just kind of destined to win this thing.
You think?
Seems it to me. It seems at home court, if you get through, you're not playing historically good teams anywhere, right? Minnesota's not historic, your opponent here. If you get the Knicks or the Pacers, like what? Nobody would have told you Knicks Pacers would be in the NBA Finals 2 months ago.
I think the Pacers would have the best shot out of the East against the Thunder. I think the Thunder would just roll the Knicks. I really do.
Okay, interesting.
And I think if it was T-Wolves Pacers or T-Wolves Knicks, that could be a really good NBA Finals.
But you said, and I agree with you. I don't see the T-Wolves getting out in the next round.
They've had the easiest path as far as like not who they've played, but they've had the most time off. Of
so much
any
time.
Of these teams. They've gotten through the first 2 rounds in 5 games, both rounds.
Yeah, I haven't seen them. Like, where are they? Like, what have they been doing? Vacationing?
Their last game was, I think, last Thursday or Wednesday or whatever day it was. I don't even know.
They've been off for forever.
So they have rest on their side when most of these teams don't. Now, what I don't like, and I know Aaron Gordon mentioned it the other day, we talked about it. Why are you only having 1 day off in between all of these games?
In the conference finals? So that means we're getting a game every night, but it's not good for the players.
Awful for the
We're
players.
getting a game every night for the next 8 days.
Yeah.
I think starting tomorrow.
There's a reason why you've seen so many injuries in the postseason. I don't think it's just like coincidence. I do think
because
that
of a lack of rest.
Yeah, lack of rest has played a role.
I agree. All right, on the other side, we promised you'll hear from Colin Cowherd, his thoughts on the Brock Purdy extension, plus a winner of the SDFC tickets for May 31st. We'll announce that coming up next. It's Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Staples Stores. Padres off day today. They start a 3-game series against the Toronto Blue Jays tomorrow night on the road. SDFC picked up a point this past weekend against Sporting Kansas City in a scoreless draw. And the Eastern and Western Conference Finals are set tomorrow night. The Western Conference Finals tips off in OKC, Thunder and T-Wolves. And then Wednesday tips off in New York with the Knicks and the Pacers. Your local Staples has hot deals and super low prices throughout the store on everything for your business. And right now at Staples, save up to $250 off your print order. Exclusions do apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. Ends June 14th. Plus, save even more with the Easy Rewards program at Staples.
All right, we've reached the time where we have a winner for SDFC tickets against Austin FC. This is not this weekend, but next weekend, May 31st, Snapdragon Stadium. We've got a pair of free tickets. We're going to announce the winner. Now, Brent, we do have a drum roll, right? All right, so let's get the drum roll, and then Jim will have the winner for us.
Justin, congratulations. You have won a pair of SDFC tickets.
Well done, Justin. You've got 2 free tickets. May 31st, Snapdragon Stadium, SDFC, Austin FC. Thank you all for qualifying and listening, and Justin for winning. I don't know if we'll have more tickets this week, but Brent tells me we will. So another opportunity to win beginning tomorrow at 2 p.m. right here on Jon and Jim. All right. Colin Cowherd, you've heard the show, right? 9 to noon, San Diego Sports 760.
Correct.
He had a lot to say.
Oh, I bet he did.
About Brock Purdy. Have you heard this?
I have not.
Okay, either have I. But Brock Purdy, but I know he had a lot to say because he said it over like 90 seconds.
I know how this went today.
So
as we were getting ready for the show, I'm just saying this is what happened.
Yep, I'm listening.
You came across this on your timeline.
I follow him for this.
Yeah. And immediately you go, boom, easy.
Run
segment.
down.
There we go.
That's why I follow the Dan Patrick Show. I follow Colin Cowherd because I'm waiting for takes that are theoretically hot.
And they would be good for our show.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to be like, I don't care about his thoughts on like the Bucks. Maybe I do, but
like a Giannis take.
Anyway, this is Colin on the Brock Purdy extension.
I am willing to pay quarterbacks $50 to $55 million a year that lead their teams or that are the offense, not that quarterbacks that comply with it. Lamar Jackson with a great organization and a great coach. He gets hurt, Baltimore can't score. Tom Brady with Belichick. He leaves, they fall off a cliff. Jimmy Garoppolo got this roster to the Super Bowl. So my take is I like quarterbacks who initiate advantage, not benefit mostly from it. And I'm not saying he's a smart kid that doesn't move well, but it's like movie directors and movie stars in Hollywood. Spielberg and Cruise are filling the theater. Many people benefit being in their movies and some with a lot of talent. But again, Hollywood has a bit of a salary cap, like there are budgets for movies and there are budgets for teams. So I think Brock Purdy tends to be closer in talent to a Baker Mayfield, $35 million a year, than Josh Allen, $55 million a year. And I'm not saying Brock is the only quarterback I think's overpaid. It does appear that Trevor Lawrence is overpaid. I said it at the time. I think Dak Prescott and Tua, I didn't like those contracts. I was right on both. Last year, there was a great moment for people to judge Brock Purdy. He lost Christian McCaffrey. The team was banged up. How did he do? He was 1-6 against playoff teams. So again, I think a lot of people can drive this 49er car, right? Garoppolo drove it to the Super Bowl.
You've heard that narrative a lot that others can do what Purdy is doing.
Yeah. And I would tell Colin, I want you to go back and I want you to look at what Jimmy Garoppolo did on their way to the Super Bowl for the 49ers. And I want you to tell me if Jimmy Garoppolo played like Brock Purdy when Brock Purdy took the Niners to the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
I think it's a good retort. I see what you're saying. You're saying Purdy is far and away better than Garoppolo, even though the end result was the end result. Both quarterbacks got to a Super Bowl.
Jimmy Garoppolo threw 8 passes in the NFC title game in 2019.
Who was that against?
The Green Bay Packers.
What happened there?
They just ran the ball down their throat.
Ran down their throat. Okay.
No, Raheem Mostert had like 250 yards rushing that game.
All right.
But I think the argument of, well, if Jimmy G did it, then anybody could do it. It's an argument that on its face might look good, but then when you dive deep into it, it's just, I heard this take, and I heard this, and it's a good one. You know, like everyone's like, oh, Brock Purdy, he's with a bunch of talent, and let's see what he does without talent. It's like, well, most quarterbacks without talent aren't gonna just all of a sudden put up 11, 12 wins in a season. Okay. You need talent around you to be successful.
You're saying all these teams have talent around these good players.
Yes. Very few could maybe do that, but still you need talent around you to succeed. You just can't be a one-man wrecking crew and expect to win a bunch of games. There's a Hall of Famer that is considered one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history. And it's kind of funny because before he went to this certain team, he was on his way out the door. Now he was a top draft pick. Okay.
He was a top draft pick.
And he went to a really bad team.
His way out the door. And then the new team changed his fortunes and he's in the Hall of Fame.
Because the new team he went to, guess what? Had a bunch of Hall of Famers on it.
What's the hint here?
Well, there's no hint. I'm just going to tell you.
It?
His name is Steve Young.
Okay.
When Steve Young was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, did he elevate the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to like Super Bowl contending and was amazing? No, because this team was awful around him. He went to the 49ers. Who do you have on the 49ers? A guy named Jerry freaking Rice. And then other players as well. And oh, by the way, he had like Dion on defense. And you get my point.
Well, this is like the point that everyone would always say. Like Patrick Mahomes might be really good, but would he be as good if he went to one of these dormant franchises? Would he be as good without the pieces around him? Would he be as good without one of the most brilliant offensive play callers ever?
Yeah. You know what I want to say to that is, for everybody that's saying, take away this player and see what he does, Brock Purdy does. Take away this player and see what Brock Purdy does. All right, take away Travis Kelce from Patrick Mahomes.
And see what happens. Or look at their offense in recent history they've been slowed offensively. Like the Mahomes brilliance of the start of his career, his offensive numbers are nowhere near what they were.
Yeah.
Why? Probably because the talent around him isn't actually as good as when he had like a Tyreek Hill with him. I'm with you. I honestly, I'm firmly with you on this. I feel like there's been a lot of unfair criticism thrown Purdy's way off this extension as if it hasn't been earned. They're not paying him as if he's the number one quarterback in the league. They're paying him as if he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. I think that's fair. I really do. I don't think it would be right if they paid him like the 16th highest quarterback in the league. He's played better than that. They're paying him appropriately based on what he's accomplished. I think it's completely fair.
Yeah, I heard this take from Sammy today about Trey Lance. Like, dude, Trey Lance.
You can't even compare the players.
Trey Lance is on his way out the freaking league.
And like all players, he's going to have to, Brock Purdy, among all these players, he's going to have to perform. The contract's a legitimate contract. They're going to want to win at a high level. We'll judge it in 5 years. Did he make a Super Bowl or win one? Did he not? Did he make 2 NFC title games? Did he not? But to be critical of it immediately, to me, is pretty unreasonable. We don't even know what this team is going to be favored in a lot of their games. They have a chance to be one of the better teams in the NFC. So let's see if they are.
And the only way, like if Brock Purdy just continues to play good football and get better and better, this thing doesn't work unless John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan put together good drafts and they draft good talent around him.
Sure.
If they don't, then it's not going to work. If the draft, if this draft class for the 49ers is a big whiff, then guess what? They're probably not going to be good.
Right. Or if Christian McCaffrey's hurt, they probably won't be as good as if he isn't hurt.
You need to hit on the draft. You need to put players around, the quarterback to be successful.
Yep.
This whole, the thing with the Brock Purdy narrative is everybody that hates Brock Purdy or has a bias against Brock Purdy, their immediate go-to is, well, let's see what Brock Purdy does without all these pieces. Like
Right.
the point of football is to put the best talent around your quarterback to succeed.
I mean, did Jalen Hurts benefit from Saquon Barkley, the best rushing offense in football history?
Yeah.
Will he be, and is anyone being critical of Jalen Hurts?
No.
If Jalen Hurts didn't have Saquon Barkley this year and that offensive line, the Eagles aren't even touching the postseason.
He had an all-pro running back. He
And
had
receivers.
two all-pro receivers. He had the best offensive line in football.
Ever. Like, honestly, the rushing stats have supported Philadelphia's offensive line and their running game to be as good as is possible.
Yeah. Hey, Jalen Hurts, why don't you win a Super Bowl without all that?
And by the way, they're trying to change the rules based on Philadelphia's rushing offense. But Jalen Hurts is a beneficiary, and he's got a ring.
Yeah. So the argument of do that without those players is stupid.
Yeah, because Jalen Hurts isn't winning a Super Bowl without Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
Or without that offensive line.
Hey, Jared Goff, go out and do what you did last year without the talent around you, who had 2 all-pro running backs. Yep. He had an all-pro tight end and an all-pro receiver and an all-pro offensive line.
That's helped.
But you know what? Go out there and do that without all that, because we want to see you be put in a situation like, I don't know, on the Carolina Panthers, and we want you to take the Panthers to the Super Bowl. Then you're going to get paid. Then you getting paid $53 million a year that's worth it.
Right. And the dirty little secret is nobody takes the Panthers to the Super Bowl. Nobody takes the Browns to the Super Bowl because they're just terribly run.
Yeah. And when you look at the breakdown of Brock's numbers, with the salary cap continuously going up, with the manipulation of the cap with teams, it's going to not even look bad unless he's not good. But guess what? He's already been good.
Yeah, he's not bad.
It's like, can Brock Purdy prove it? Hasn't he not proven it already?
And you're right. In a year when other guys get paid and his he's the 7th highest paid quarterback and he becomes the 10th highest paid, or per the cap, he's X% of the cap. Yeah. Again, if he got the richest deal in NFL history, I would get it.
Yeah.
But he didn't get the richest deal in NFL history.
Not even close. He is, when you look at the rankings, it's like middle of the pack.
Right.
And
so it's fair.
Yeah.
And people still have hot takes on it.
I know.
All right. Jim's back
Talking
page.
to you, Sammy Long, Mr. Kansas City Chief.
Yeah. Save that for Sammy if you're not listening. All right. Jim's back page coming up next. All right, final time, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Join us tomorrow, 2 p.m. We've got more SDFC tickets to give away. We'll get you ready also for Padres Blue Jays, game 1 of a 3-game series from what I always call Skydome. I don't even know what it is anymore. Rogers Center. But I think from there it might have been changed. I'm Googling it.
I don't think so. And they did a bunch of renovations.
Yeah, you're right. It's Rogers Center.
Yeah, they did. They renovated that thing this past year, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would you want to check that out? They've always had the hotel,
Yeah.
right, with the rooms that overlook left field.
But when we watch it on television in the next couple of days,
I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, it's gonna look completely different.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. All right, should we go? Should we broadcast from outside Rogers Center?
Yeah,
let's just get in a plane.
So here's the
We'll
three things that I'm gonna tell Aaron, which I'm for me not
Cancel
go to
the
Hawaii.
honeymoon.
So we're going to Toronto, and then we got
Toronto with Jon,
and then we got card show this weekend.
Yeah, you can't go to a honeymoon the same weekend as a card show.
No, can't. Sorry.
And then you got some other things, maybe. I mean, you could go. SDFC's home this weekend.
If I honestly
told her you weren't going to the honeymoon,
told her tonight when I got home, hey, look, we need to talk.
Do it and film it.
I can't go to the honeymoon this weekend. I can't go to Hawaii with you this weekend because I'm going to a card show instead.
Do it, film it, and see what happens.
First of all, she wouldn't believe me.
Right.
But if I actually told her, like, no, this is serious, I'm gonna go to the card show this weekend and you can go to Hawaii.
It would either be a divorce or a murder.
Probably both.
Maybe both. Potentially both.
Yeah.
No, go to Hawaii. Be a man.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm going to. Don't worry.
Let's get to it.
All right, it's Monday, so that means we got a crumble cookies Monday. The crumble cookies of the week: confetti cake. These aren't cookies, but still,
it's
a cake. Confetti cake. Chocolate crumb cookie featuring Oreos.
Okay, that sounds good.
Banana cream pie cookie.
Okay.
A chocolate Reese's Pieces cookie. It's a new one.
That sounds amazing.
Lemon cheesecake cookie. A tres leches cake. And then the old reliable semi-sweet chocolate chunk cookie.
Can't go wrong. All week.
I think out of all of those, my number one choice, probably the chocolate Reese's Pieces cookie.
Me too. It sounds amazing.
And then I think I'd have to go with the chocolate crumb cookie featuring Oreos.
I love that. Featuring Oreos. That sounds great.
Featuring Oreos.
I love it.
So there you go for the week. Wendy's, Jon, is set to release new Takis Fuego meals in June. Wendy's and Takis are teaming up for a fiery new collaboration, the Wendy's Takis Fuego meal. The bold combo features a Fuego chicken sandwich made with spicy chicken, chili lime, and cheddar cheese sauce, crushed Taki Fuego chips, and a creamy corn spread. It's paired with Fuego fries, Wendy's classic natural cut fries dusted with chili lime seasoning. This is going to drop nationwide in June. Does that sound appeasing to you, Brent?
Not to Brent.
No, I don't like Takis.
What if I told you that sounds, I'm looking at it now because I Googled it because I was intrigued. What if I told you I really want that?
Then get
There's
it.
Something about this that I really want.
Well,
that looks really good.
Well, they're supposed to make it look really good on the ad.
But the idea of the taste, I feel like that's going to taste really good.
Probably if you like spicy stuff.
Which I don't really.
Well, then you're probably not going to like.
But I did when I want to try it.
Okay.
I'll ask if they have a vegetarian version.
Can I get the
no chicken?
The no chicken
just
Taki sandwich?
Roll or whatever.
Just a bag of chips.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I would do when I was as a kid going to like McDonald's. Can I get a cheeseburger with no burger, just the patty and
the cheese
and no cheese, and they would just give me the bun.
Well, that's like that meme when the person's like, "Yeah, I went to McDonald's and asked for what was it, a vegan cheeseburger, and they just gave them a bun with ketchup and pickles in it."
Exactly.
Yeah. So there you go.
That was it?
No, I got a couple more here. Mr. Beast.
Yeah,
we know Mr. Beast.
We sure do.
Well, his net worth has officially reached $1 billion becoming the 8th youngest billionaire.
That's amazing.
From YouTube, man.
Through YouTube, but there's so much more now, dude. He's selling like candy bars.
In 2024, Mr. Beast was the #1 creator on the Forbes top creator list. As of 2024, Forbes listed Mr. Beast's net worth at $85 million. However, a court case released Mr. Beast Burgers in 2024 showed that he made $223 million in 2023 and was on track to make over $700 million in 2024.
Can you imagine making $200 million in like YouTube ad revenue? So you guys are making hundreds of millions of dollars on YouTube.
Here's how Mr. Beast, I guess, apparently shot to stardom. Here's like a video.
Well, he did like 50 videos, remember, before he even got to like 1,000 subscribers.
Mr. Beast created a video. His name is Jimmy, by the way.
Right.
Jimmy created a video in 2017 named I Counted to 100,000, where he spent 44 hours counting to 100,000.
What?
This video is what skyrocketed his popularity, which was viewed over 31 million times.
Has anyone ever watched that in its entirety?
Here's
From start to finish.
Here's his like most well-known videos.
Mm-hmm.
Counting to 200,000.
He doubled down on 100,000?
Yeah. Because dude, it made 31 million views. He's doing it again.
I ain't counting for 90 hours, but yeah, okay.
For 90 hours, for 31 million views, I'll count for 90 hours. Reading the dictionary.
No way.
Reading the script of the B movie. Using Uber to travel across the country. Saying Logan Paul's name 100,000 times. And then watching Jake Paul's music video for It's Everyday Bro on repeat for 10 straight hours.
Oh my gosh.
Some of these things sound more like torture.
So he basically earned it.
Well,
by doing the worst things ever.
But those are the type of things that people just like want to like, I don't know, but for whatever reason that hits.
Why don't we do a wrap-up show where we mention everyone that's ever put on a Padres uniform and we go back and forth? A to Z.
Or we do a wrap-up show where all we're doing is exorcisms.
No, we're not doing that. No. That's done. Jim tried to do something last night on the wrap-up show. It didn't work perfectly.
We decided that
no.
Let me just say it's fine. End of the show. It's okay.
We didn't decide that.
Don't say anything. I'll take the fall. Last night I decided on the wrap-up show that John's Jackson Merrill rookie card was cursing him.
Yeah, it was jinxed.
That it was a jinx because when he bought that card, Jackson Merrill then went to a slump.
He was hitting 467.
Now I also had a part to do with it as well.
That's a way to deflect from your role.
Yeah, again, I had a lot to do with it, but I do feel like we needed to exercise the demons in some way, and all we had was Jackson Merrill's rookie card to do that. So last night we lit candles on the wrap-up show, and I performed an exorcism where I read off what an exorcist would say to release a demon from whatever's being possessed by a demon.
Merrill around. I thought, Brent, we were just like lighting candles and be like, Merrill, be better. And Jim starts breaking out like chants. And like, I mean, it got
the power of Christ compels you.
Dude, it got a little.
Literally, that's what I said.
I told him to stop. I'm like, can you please stop? This is getting weird.
Yeah, John got scared.
And then he wouldn't go outside to do his laundry because he was all scared too.
Yeah.
All right, that's a good start to the week.
Very good start.
Man, that flew just 4 hours.
Let's do another hour.
Unbelievable.
Another hour? Yeah.
Commercial free? No
chance in
We're
hell.
not going to do it. We're back tomorrow. 2 more SDFC tickets to give away. We'll get you ready for Padres and Blue Jays. If you missed anything today, go to sportssd.com or the iHeartRadio app. If you're listening to the podcast, please leave a review as well. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here at San Diego Sports 760.
Okay.
Bye.